in Valorant terms. So, you know, they definitely have some recovery to do. But as you say, today is all about those Ascension teams coming up. And I think they have a lot to be excited for today, I would say.
For sure. I mean, Boom could be one of the first Ascension teams. I think the first Ascension team in Pacific to be able to get in towards the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
that could be huge. That could be huge for them because they were the team that wasn't even expected to be here at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, let's see how the players are doing or welcoming our two teams here. And that's Patman we're looking at joining the squad officially here in Korea. He was here in the coaching booth last week, and now
Hello, Phúc, hello, Phong nha.
Playing today. We're finally going to be seeing him. So Alex was saying that Patman will be playing some of the maps. So I think that sounds like we're definitely going to be seeing him here today. He said he ended up getting him because he has a lot of sports background, competitive sports background. But Valorant's his very first game he's ever played. So it's very interesting to see a guy who's like really, you know, he's like Primmy. He's like so fresh. Like he's like a newborn baby.
Oh, I think less fresh than Primmy though, because at least he has some tier 2 experience.
He's
been getting around in a lot of the Filipino teams and playing in the challengers scene, which you've already seen the excellent experience that gives you. I think Kelly S and some of the other players that we've seen move up from the.
Cho em xin tiếng cười à, cứ tiếng cười thôi, không có tiếng cười đâu em à. Ôi, hôm nay Batman ra sân à? Batman thay cho ai nhỉ?
There's so many of those great Filipino scenes in the Filipino teams. Four of them, so I think that's why you're seeing.
Ôi, hôm nay Batman ra sân à, ngon.
Such a strong and competitive regional scene that we've got right now.
Oh, absolutely. And another.
Baron tập với Badger, ok, tùy theo màn hình của em bao nhiêu HZ thôi.
Today is going to be phenomenal, but despite all of that, the people we have our eyes on are not the Indonesians. It's a Kazakh named DOS9.
Yeah,
he's scary. A scary addition to this team in his rookie year. Did great in tier 2, but obviously didn't manage to make it as far as the rest of the Boom Boys did in Ascension. But they decided, hey, we can add you to the team, and he has lit up the server ever since. Incredibly dominant performances through week 1 and week 2, and he wants to keep that up into today.
I think week 1 for sure, he was the key to Boom getting that one across the line, particularly.
Hello Quân Đăng. Hello Snow nha. Không, hôm nay là sẽ không có khóc gì hết. Hôm nay sẽ là một ngày khác biệt. Không có khóc gì hết á.
He's also one of the best oppers that we've got at the moment in Pacific. He's got the most op kills and some of the best op utilization. So that's got to be something you're keeping an eye on going through this series. So for Boom, I think looking like a very well-rounded and consistent team, where they're usually a team that I consider to be notoriously inconsistent, but by the same token,
they've
had some easier matches to start things off. Genji putting in 2 players in their match last week. I think PRX maybe looking a little vulnerable.
Hôm nay mọi thứ sẽ khác các bạn ạ.
Still, I'm waiting for them to take on one of these titans of Pacific, and if PRX shows up in full form, then that's, you know, kind of the name brand that they have at the moment.
I mean, I think they took down that Genji core. I think they're right there. I think saying it's easy opponents downplays the skill that these guys have.
Hello Kỳ, hello Bách nha.
2-0, 2-0.
Xem trận khác sẽ không để khung chat riêng team này.
Oh, wow, that is
riêng team này là phải cho lên kẻ bẩn mắt hả? Phải coi à, phải coi à. Màn hình là bao nhiêu bet rồi, cứ 180 cho lên thôi. Màn hình 180, Z thì 180 bet thôi cho lên.
Boom, actually. But Patman coming in, is this the guy? It's all on his shoulders.
I mean, I like a change. I can understand why they want change necessary. And, you know,
chui gì có meme rồi à. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ được chứng kiến player mới Batman sẽ bắn như thế nào đây.
I quite like it overall. I really think it's nice. But this is the matchup we wanted to highlight. For me, the two duelists going head to head. Forsaken, we now see him almost always on that permanent duelist.
Này em Batman ra sân.
Who, as we said, is stepping up, becoming a lot more consistent.
Quá hợp lý, quá hợp lý. Sir.
I think Forsaken. I mean, I kind of really question him being the primary duelist in PRX because they've got so many different players.
3 phút nữa các bạn.
That role, especially with Mindfreak being the player going out, is that something they're going to continue, or is that something they're going to move away from? Because for me, Forsaken is the most flexible player on the team, and he can consistently play those roles. As we mentioned with Famous, though, consistent series to series, a player that has been in the past notoriously consistent, maybe inflexible with his agent pool. I think he's really showing to be a very, very good duelist inside of Pacific.
Batman bắn 03. You sure?
Op has been looking very fearsome, and he's been playing a lot of different duelists at the moment as well. Even Phoenix, which we haven't seen many other players really want to adopt at the moment.
Very true. Now we can't stop talking about Patman because
Thêm ở YouTube Việt Nam đi ốc hả? Caster này bị ban mít là sao?
Was Monyet, and that was it for a
Thế là
moment.
sao bị ban mít?
That, of course, something. So Patman coming in, like you guys had mentioned, this is probably a good change to have him in here, and it seems like on the
Coi nghe có tiếng cách nước ngoài nó vẫn hấp dẫn hơn nhiều chứ. Tiếng game nó cũng sẽ được to hơn. Còn nếu mà coi bên nước coi bên Việt Nam mình thì tiếng game sẽ hơi bị nhỏ hơn rất là nhiều.
Towards the end of his time, right before where we saw Jing take that over. So I would expect him to be playing these kind of, supporty initiators. That seems to be where he's at his best, and I think that is quite a natural fit. And, PRX were missing solid supportive initiator play. They can kind of flex around it. You can put something there and stuff, but I don't think it's quite the same as having somebody who's very experienced in these kind of roles.
Oh yes, get something off initiator.
Hỗ trợ cho miền Nam như là Thái Lan thì các bạn khán giả đừng quên hãy dành cái sự quan tâm của mình.
Ủa vẫn nghe bình thường mà. Vẫn nghe bình thường mà. Ủa con kênh Pacific kìa. Ủa làm có kênh Pacific Việt Nam. Không coi đâu nhờ. Ban à. Rồi bóng map binh. Map binh với Sen. Cuối cùng là map Fracture. Ôi, map đầu là map của bom mà. Xong rồi. Xong rồi.
Where I think we've seen Boom play this one time, right?
Twice actually, and they lost that game against T1, and then they got stomped by Nongshim. But Nongshim are insane on Pearl right now. Like they beat everyone on Pearl. Ooh, okay.
Ôi, 50-50 vậy.
50-50 split here, and I think that's a fair assessment of how today can go. Pearl, even though yes, DFM 13 won them, that's sort of an unforgettable situation, but at the same
time, let's see. Hôm nay đối mềm mà. Hôm nay cái đối mềm. Đối mềm như thấy mọi người có vẻ như đang chọn bom nhiều nha. Đang chọn bom nhiều PRX nha. Nhưng chúng tôi là PRX. Tôi không biết mấy buổi trước sao nha, mà kiểu bây giờ từ cái vai trái này của tôi nó bị mỏi nhất. Tôi không biết là tôi ngủ tôi có bị quẹo người hay là quẹo gì đó không. Nhưng mà em bị 2 hôm nay rồi. Giờ kiểu đang ngồi im như thế này đúng không? Quay qua đây nè, tự nhiên sẽ đau cái vùng này nè. Nó bị nhức á. Cay thật. Quay qua trái thì cũng đau, quay qua phải cũng đau. Quay qua phải đau nhiều hơn. Map đầu của bom em ơi. Map đầu bom bích. Ôi, intro được cái nhờ. Ngủ là tư thế à. Chắc vậy mà anh bị cũng 2-3 hôm nay rồi mẹ. Nó cứ nhức khó chịu phải liền nè. Không biết ngủ lăn có quần què gì mà để lúc mà ngủ dậy cái bắt đầu thấy nó hơi nhức à. Map mới à? Này phải map mới không? Không đau vai thôi, bị đau vai thôi. Mẹ không biết Việt Nam mình nếu mà tổ chức Pacific ở Việt Nam mình có một cái sân khấu được như thế này không nhờ? Ở Việt Nam mình có được cái sân khấu như thế này tuyệt vời. PRX.
VCT Pacific, this is the match to watch. PRX are on a lose streak in stage 1 right now, but they have finally added Patman to this roster.
Dạ. Batman lần đầu ra sân. Mà Batman nhìn tướng cũng to đấy các bạn ạ. Đấm hơi ác đấy. Batman lần đầu ra sân không biết sẽ như thế nào đây. Ai cũng sẽ, tôi nghĩ là ai cũng sẽ khống trận này Batman bắn như thế nào, tại vì layer mới mà. Lần đầu bước cái Pacific.
They have qualified for playoffs, and they're going to be the first team to qualify for playoffs.
Yeah, they shouldn't be here really, but they are, and they've grasped the opportunity with both hands. Underdogs no more, a 2-0 start, yet to drop a map.
Myfic hôm nay không có rồi mà Myfic hôm nay có Batman thay thế rồi. Thật ra thì tôi nghĩ là việc mà thầy Alex mình đã lựa chọn một người đi ra để mà thay thế cho Batman thì khó lắm. Lựa một người ra để cho Batman thay vào khó, cân nhắc lắm các bạn. Myfic kìa. Dự bị. Dự bị hai bên. Chờ một mấy club rồi. Chưa biết được mà, các bạn chưa thấy Batman bắn như thế nào mà chúng ta cần coi Batman tỏa sáng. Mà Batman mà hôm nay tỏa sáng là hơi căng đấy, là lúc đó chúng ta về chúng ta nào là tìm sen chuột nè, gear của Batman xài nè, vân vân may nè. Ôi trời ơi, tuyệt vời.
So Alex did mention in the interview that Batman will be playing some of the maps, so this does seem to imply Mindfreaks will still be involved in a lot of ways, including as a player, but who really knows?
The six-man roster.
Mặt bình à.
Can't get rid of it. T1 did it one time and everybody copies. That's how it goes.
I mean, it seems like it's very trendy right now, as is, you know, just jamming double duelists and saying
Batman này một là sẽ tỏa sáng, và đéo tỏa sáng là sẽ có một cái meme bat luôn.
Today, guys, they've taken out their long-time most stable role player of the controller, and now we're just going into chaos.
Có Zero, tôi thấy có một con Zero rồi. Something để chơi Zero của ta. Something chơi Zero à, vãi lồn. Batman bắn Initiator. Vậy là không phải Cương bắn Duelist rồi. Tìm quá nhiều tay to để chơi Duelist. Let's go.
That's going to really help them pressure doors and art and things like that. And I like Jing and something back on Duelist on that comp, I have to say. But across on the side of Boom, keeping it a lot more simple. KO, Teo, a very, very standard, almost old school Pearl comp. So this is a very new...
Hello Hoàng nha. Anh em mới vào stream thì cho tôi xin một like á, thank you anh em. Mà mình phải viết cái này lên. Mình phải viết cái này lên.
Definitely, a lot of things are swapping around here. This is a very exciting way to start the first series of today, Boom versus PRX. We're going to be sending it over to our casters, Komodo and Quack. In what sweater are you wearing? I love it.
Oh my God! Thank you very much, Vic. Yeah, do you love it? The whole thing is, I asked Wardrobe for something that would describe what I feel like if PRX won. So yeah, fuzzy, comfy. I feel pretty warm right now.
Maybe I'm glad that sometimes I can't see color.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, in all honesty, but you know what? We do have to think about what the compositions look like. Hey, I'm Quack, this is Komodo. Any thoughts so far?
Look, got to address the buffs and nerfs that have come in as well, so whether or not they're going to have a little bit of a play in towards this specifically with the KO and the Yoru, of course they're...
Trận này căng đấy, chuyện này là hấp dẫn đấy. Mà tưởng nguyên cái Pacific mà Batman không được ra sân để chịu.
I don't think Boom would have seen this one coming. When you look back towards kickoff against DFM and you're getting smacked 13-1 as PRX, you know, are you coming into this and it's like, all right guys, we're getting Batman in the roster.
Để bên này tôi đặt cái áo PRX, áo mới hiện tại. Cái áo của tôi là nó cũ quá rồi. Kiếm áo mới mặc cho nó giống như các bạn không?
find their roar again? Or will they face extinction? What possibly could be that? And right now, we are off with PaperX on the attack.
Well, they need to certainly bring something, isn't it? The 1-4 record so far for them this year, quite abysmal for PaperX. So starting off with their own map pick, getting a pistol is not going to be a bad thing for them.
Tiếng nghe vừa anh em, tiếng nghe vừa.
Throughout the course of this tourney so far.
Tôi cũng thắc mắc là hôm nay xong Thiên Chiru flexible phải à.
Yeah, it's a bit of a duo stack as well. You've got you right up at the back, but still at least a bit of a trade from Jing, and then to flash out, create the pressure down B long.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily need to see PaperX keep on going with this one. You know, one of the approaches in running the double duelist is even though that they do lose something here, there's still going to be options for them. Jing can still run out with that blaze as well. You know, I look towards what PaperX are running here, and we can potentially see some parallels to the likes of 100 Thieves, who will play Arsena on the Neon instead of the Phoenix here for Jing.
So those double duels definitely possibly coming in handy, but as well, you know, this composition, especially Jing on the Phoenix, is something that PaperX are really familiar with. Now doubling back into
Ôi, chưa gì mà Batman bị free pick rồi. Chưa đóng tay các bạn ơi, chưa đóng tay. Ôi, mày Jing đi gõ từng người một luôn mà.
Could be in for the ace to start off the affairs of PaperX here. NC Slasher though, salvos, and a ghost in hand. This is all going to come down to what angles he can isolate, what shots he might be able to hit.
Jing looking a lot more comfortable. He's online for the ace as well, and receiving first contact spots him out, and there it is, the ace to
Ôi, hơi căng nha. Mày mới ra đầu có A rồi. Được hay nhờ. Làm sao? Đấm bơm hết. Bơm gì tập này?
Starting off with an ace, not a bad idea.
Certainly a very welcome sight, especially for the PaperX fans, possibly in the chat as well, but it is still really early, Komodo.
Yep.
I have seen a lot of these advantages fumbled before.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Nè, đây là sớm coi PRX em ơi.
That's for sure. Got to also remember Boomer, the team that currently, you know, have 3 individuals that we've seen run some aces before.
And leading in some statistics, clutches and kill deaths as well.
I mean, you look towards DOS9 and Berserks, right? You got to see them be consistent. If Famous is getting out an operator on this defensive side later on, that's something that you're going to have to try and piece together as PaperX to shut that one down. This time, though, up very quietly towards B long. And now they explode.
Stars might reveal their intention, so maybe Famous quite aware, but still getting taken out quickly.
Combo hay nè.
Sharp shooting from the PaperX members. Now down to the last.
Đấy, chưa được combo với của Batman hả?
They are somewhere hovering nearby.
Yeah, of course, no one really close to, you know, any ultimates. Quite expensive ones on the side of Boom. See if they can get any shots out here, but the hunt is certainly on for PaperX.
Coi Batman cương này, coi sao đây.
Even push them all the way far back into spawn.
Hop co. Khó ui. Ôi. Ôi. Mẹ hết Jing cung rồi tới anh Cường cung luôn mà. Cầm gót bắn nha, công bằng này các bạn nha. Bắn công tâm luôn á, không phải là bắn kiểu hop coi á. Bắn rất là công tâm. Anh Cường nó sao game dễ thế nhờ.
At least for now, he's positioning himself closer towards Art, possibly hinting at there's a bit of mid-play. They do read the intentions from PaperX into the A site.
Yeah, but the 0 point, I believe, only spotting Patman, right? So when you think about how many players you're tagging up with that blade, you know, does one player signify a full shift and rotate? It starts to. NC Slasher is rotating over. First casualty is Jing. Forsaken falls too. That's an immediate shutdown on this bonus quack.
Yeah, PaperX gonna have to head off to find another opportunity somewhere else on the map, but I can't imagine too much going their way right now. Every single lane is being locked down.
And something not able to progress outside of club either, playing on that Marshall,
biết Amen
so
đi rồi.
it's just dirty info for them at the moment.
Chắc chặn người nha, ha, cử một người chạy về B.
something I've been impressed with from Boom so far throughout this stage is their decision making and their patience, right? Berserks, again,
That's the crazy thing.
I'll highlight his util positioning, and I think most importantly, discipline has been gorgeous. But this time, it's going to be NC Slasher and Famous here at B.
You know, if you would have told me that Boom would be a disciplined team or a control team,
yeah, crazy, right?
2025, yeah, I would not have pictured that. But they are looking phenomenal right now. Famous holding the angle, spots out, gets the information for the team as well. Divide trying to make use of the angle, but getting gunned down. A bit of a wall bang.
Đá xác.
Looking for the third, but Patman will be able to answer back. But
Ui khó, nhiều góc quá.
Before the rest of the team descends upon him, so Boom able to answer back.
Surviving with 4 as well. You'll take Famous as the only casualty in that round. Not able to get out an operator just yet, of course. I think that's one of my things that I'm really going to be kind of waiting for in this series as well, right? To see if Famous is going to be able to keep on his #1 operator kill collection at the moment. And how, I think more importantly, PRX are going to be battling against that, right? Because you're not seeing any Vipers or anything like that they can play with the walls. You're going to have to try.
Nhìn na ná thằng Famos nhìn tưởng công anh ha. Ý là nhỏ con công anh xíu.
That's exactly what they're looking to do, at least for now.
Maybe not like that if you're flashing yourself, Jing.
Just for a tiny second, so at least for now, it's still not the worst thing in the world, but there are a lot of Killjoy traps on the site itself.
Steel Garden in.
Blaze wall as well. So trying to get that pinch on, trying to get the spike planted as soon as possible. Jing with a run it back will continue pushing down a single lane. Search, though, holds down Halls with a lone shorty. Something tries to deal with him. We'll be able to do just that, but not before.
Got another.
Yeah, he took down a second player. PRX now working at a numbers disadvantage, and the site is too hot for them to get the spike planted. Divide trying to provide some assistance, but that smoke goes a little bit too deep. Shiro and Famous have already gone past the sidelines. It's just something left now. Fake gate crash as well, but the spike still down. The stealth drone has spotted him out. This round is quite possibly over unless a miracle is pulled out of the hat.
Yeah, you just don't want to see Boom give him individual jewels.
He's got no util as well, Komodo.
Very difficult.
And speaking of how disciplined Boom has been, look at this!
30 seconds left.
No individual duels. Famous holding the angle, spots out the shoulder, headshot easily.
Try, không sao các bạn ơi. Còn thời gian thích nghi cho Batman. Chưa nóng tay, là một round nóng tay là khác một ngay. Bữa tôi mới tính mua cây shorty này chứ.
But the run it back wasn't able to get deep enough to be able to capitalize on anything there. So something that you'll want to see PRX reel in a little bit later on, but the protocols are certainly there for them. I mean, I'm seeing them sneak up towards B, right, with all the Killjoy utility that Berserks has down, and they're trying to break in, but it's the trading, it's the right angles from Boom. Very aware of their strengths on this map so far, which, I mean, it'll be further accentuated now that they've got the guns and PRX do not.
Absolutely. I do imagine, this is a composition that Boom is quite familiar with, having, studied PRX in the past, possibly. Of course, their most recent matchup was like 3 years ago.
I mean, talk about study. How much study can you get from a 13-1?
It's been a while, but, they are, both Indonesian teams, somewhat Indonesian players both sides. At least right now, though, Forsaken trying to create a little bit of pressure. Feeling some heat himself, getting taken out.
Có hop này, một hit rồi. Hay.
Forsaken, though, with this Phantom pickup, will continue to push through.
And because it's a 2 versus 4 at the moment, Famous has to bring out the Blade Storm because the Outlaw is going to be that distant.
Về B là đẹp nha. Hello, Bass.
Yeah, they've pilfered these guns as well, right? So now they're playing with Phantom, Vandal. We've seen Forsaken really be
4v2.
And how damaging he's going to be able to be with that one. So this might be a bit of a thrifty to come through PRX's way.
Well, at least they haven't quite sussed out Famous's position just yet. He has a slight opportunity, possibly, but he has to be very careful as well. The Nebula blocking so much of it off. DOS9 arriving right on time as well. Famous clears the angle, spots out Jing, has to back off.
Bắn hay đó.
Time to be bought with the Blaze.
Okay. Can DOS9 pull a rabbit?
Thôi, hay kìa. Phát xạ hay đấy chứ. Sao? Làm sao? Thằng Eco.
With the sheriffs into the phantom pickup and a triple kill in the round.
Yeah, he had a great lurk up through mid, honestly, just catching the Boom members none the wiser, and then you've got multiple members in art that are just able to explode and play strength in numbers, right? Good patience from PRX in the way that they're navigating around the map, so it's good to see that the decision making from them is wise at the moment.
We've seen Boom, getting a bit of a read for how PRX might play, especially with the run it back from Jing in the previous round. But PRX also showing that they have a lot of cards up their sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, when Devi's picking up this Astra, I mean, it's not an agent that we usually associate with him whatsoever, right?
Ui, vừa quay mặt đe flash mà còn ăn chó nữa.
It was just Berserks though, and he did have the sheriff, right? Because
Và Break này bắn gọi là đoàn kết thấy chưa?
Would have to. Famous currently leading with 19
hay ra.
Right now,
Ui,
dealt with by
anh
something.
Thịnh dẻo chưa?
Pilots at Yoru. Gate crashes all the way towards the back and throws it off sight lines.
I wouldn't be surprised if they want to just grab that operator and go for a save here as Boom. You're in a 5 versus 3 deficit. It's going to be very difficult to try and get in on a retake here. You just have to play towards the later portion of this half. How can you activate Famous with this operator? This is the round where just, the one impact space created for PRX to explode into B and a
ngợp mấy anh bơm mà ngợp, mấy anh bơm ngợp. Ở đây có bơm con không nhờ? Có ai bơm con không nhờ?
Famous with that operator on the line towards street, get the kill. Pretty just ordinary. Couple of shots and the round's done.
This is exactly how you would want to play this agent composition, right? With the flashes, gate crashes towards the back.
And any kills that they can find on the hunt here are going to be quite damaging.
Ooh, Forsaken.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to find anything though, so well done for PRX. Another round on the board on this attacking side.
Yeah, a bit of discipline for PRX as well, but we shall see a bit of a second opportunity for Famous to find something with his op.
Gonna have Coach Six Fingers in here for some words. Are we gonna have pseudo Coach Mind Freak on the side of PRX here? Because we did see Patman, right, sitting with Alex.
Sao đổi fan được em? Mình phải trung thành chứ.
Coach Fields, yes, absolutely.
Không có đổi fan.
Always excited to see what strategies he's able to cook up.
Dù thế nào, chúng tôi vẫn là PRX.
There's going to be a little bit of tape that they can kind of work back towards and what strength there's going to be. So far,
em đổi fan là em không có niềm tin rồi.
In terms of the KO buff, if you want to call it a buff that comes through on those flash drives and the Yoru clone as well, right? Having a little bit of extra money.
Chừng nào PRX vô địch champion.
Yeah, we haven't really,
đâu PRX như chưa một lần vô địch đúng không? Tại là vua về nhì không à. Chỉ là PRX vô địch. Lúc đó tính tới chuyện đổi fan.
Is the camera's closer to him, right? So does that make him in the actual coach slot? Like, is that what we're seeing here?
So Alex is the assistant coach
Alex
today.
Is the assistant. He can just chill. No desks to be broken today.
Not yet, at least. Well, we have
He's got that big
6 big booms. I don't know.
Vì team Thòng giờ mình gấp lên mình bỏ vô lại em ơi.
Right now, I have to imagine this timeout has to be called for Boom to reinforce mid a little bit more. PRX has been exploiting that in the past few rounds.
Mà phải là chân thì bây giờ là giờ trợ lý thôi, giờ mình đứng ra dự bị cho Batman vô bắn thử như thế nào. Batman vẫn chưa có những cái đột biến lắm nhờ. Trận này có vẻ như đang đều á. Ui. Batman bắn lỗi thế. Có vô địch Pacific một lần. Có hả ta? Nếu nhớ, không nhớ.
Yeah, spotted out by the drone. Wanted to try and bring something back into a workable scenario for PRX, but at this point in time, some aggression dealt with by Shiro very nicely. And it's kind of just going to really stop PRX here. The spike is down at doors. You've got an operator looking after that as well. I like the timing on NC
Thôi, rất chết spy trong kia.
Drone, by the way, just to really put Forsaken in a spot of bother. And something that I was kind of wondering as well, right? When was DOS9 going to kind of be brought into the fray for Boom here? That was a great piece of utility to assist Shiro.
Adjustments back into the B side as well. And now it's going to be Famous holding the line with this op. But Divide, well, recalls the star.
But there's 30 seconds, right? You need some really big heroics at the moment. Famous with the operator is extending his kill lead with that gun. And now the game is damaged because the credits, I mean, they're not too flashy for Boom.
Spotted him out as well.
Yeah. And now you got the operator back on the line again.
So Boom, incredibly aware. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking, especially with that opt-down. You have to imagine device somewhere nearby, especially with that star being recalled. So Famous.
Thích mỗi vài phía bây giờ ông không bắn buồn điên hả? Không sai em ơi, bây giờ mình đổi mình tạm thời mình gián tiếp Batman đi, mình tưởng Batman là vai Freak là được em. Mình phải cho gọi là những tài năng trẻ mới được nhú lên chứ. Cái áo này rồi hả? Anh cảm giác là anh không mặc áo mà bắn hay hơn nhiều em ơi. Mỗi lần mặc thay cái áo vô cái là nó bắn cứ sao sao á.
Where he's going to be, how they're leaning around this map, what tells that PRX are going to come out with.
Huge home crowd watch party cheering out for Boom as well. In Jakarta, where Ascension was held last year, but back into this.
You've got the operator on this A site, and you've got all of Berserk's utility at the moment. So there's dimensional drift. Yeah, I mean, PRX are going to really try and go with this one. Cosmic Divide invested, but the utility is going to stall them out.
Just trying to push them off positions. The Nightfall being sent in as well. Famous just firing off warning shots, but not quite finding anything with pot shots. He does find one all of a sudden.
Yeah, Null Command.
With the Cosmic Divide now, so a bit of a pop flash through possibly. They're trying to play around the smokes. Null Command just does keep them at bay for the time being. PRX trying to hold on to the current positions. Pop flash sent through, and there it is. Bounced off the wall. Something gives himself a bit of an
Batman này Batman nè. Khó nói chứ. Chắc chưa cơ hội, tới sáng. Ê mà nãy giờ để ý nha, ông Cameraman ít quay BV con Batman nha. Thề luôn các bạn thấy không? Ít quay BV Batman luôn á. Giờ mới qua nè. Vừa nói xong. Mẹ mà quay chết luôn mà.
Spots the angle, sprays him down, a triple found in the round, and Boom to tie things up.
Yeah, Divide to lose his life first, and PRX still want to try and get the spike plant down and protect it when Shiro's Null Command is in the mix. I saw the Blaze Wall come up from Jing, but a missed taunt from Patman. Dodged at the right time for the Boom members, not highlighting anybody. Makes that extremely difficult for PRX to kind of win any of the duels there. I mean, the shorties are being played well. The fact that Famous finds that first one whilst blind, I mean, it really does hurt out PRX, but I really have to say, maybe they press the issue a little bit too hard.
Cái gì mà sao bắn chớ vậy? Hay ra cho tụi nó one tap chứ. Mà mới đem UDK quay qua thấy là rụng, quay qua thấy là rụng à.
Bully Boom out of that site, and Boom, once upon a time, they might have conceded the site. They might have been a little bit scared. But this Boom that we're seeing right now, Quack, are a team that has come through Ascension in the slot.
Để mấy tuyển thủ vừa bắn nhúng ngồi. Hay thế anh à, làm thế đạn không bị loại ha. Thì em phải tập cái nhịp. Nó sẽ có một cái nhịp để em canh ra đạn em bắn. Nó có cái nhịp khức đó, có cái khoảnh khắc á, trong cái thao tác đó sẽ có một cái khoảnh khắc để em bắn nó ổn định được. Anh chuẩn bị video chải tóc còn ngày lịch sự đó, tóc anh vuốt bình thường mà chải tóc gì? Còn cái áo này anh mặc từ hôm qua mà, áo này áo bình thường chứ không phải là áo nhìn, nói chung là áo kiểu nó hơi áo phông rộng quá mà. Tại hôm qua đi ngoài có việc cho nên anh có mặc cái áo này. Với lại mặc cái áo này để mình còn trao cúp cho ba break nữa em à.
That's why I'm like, ooh, fracture. Yeah. It's gonna be the last map. That was the last time these guys played each other. That's a bit spicy.
Bit of familiarity for sure, but still
2.5 years ago. I don't know how much you'd read into that.
You gotta rear our sights back into this current matchup where things are starting to heat up very much so.
Different positions though with the utility. Shiro, he repositions over into this mid-con area. You did see the hot hands go out from Jing. It cleared where DOS is playing.
Suppression blade though spots everything out. Good little
hay
flash, but is it gonna
be hay nè.
Where DOS9 is? Patman will go in for the pinch. A little bit of utility as well just to push NG Slasher off, but still trying to force it through. Famous will find a bit of a trade as he takes one down up B long.
Quả tính ra quả flash hay chứ, quả flash hơn là kiểu không có quả flash đó cho nên là lật được cái chỗ linh đó chứ. Ôi từ từ bình tĩnh nha Batman ơi, bình tĩnh nha. Ôi rồi thấy cái nòng súng rồi, ôi.
This is the worst spot for the spike to be dropped in. Okay.
But now it's heard, right? 30 seconds to go. The turret has been recalled. Forsaken's going to get in towards the site. There's a nano to buy time.
That's exactly what I mean. And all he's got is just this sheer wall where currently placed might just give him some information. Arc goes back in, repositions, and now that's where he gets spotted out by Famous from the back. I mean, even if Famous wasn't there, Berserks was up by Dugout.
I do like the response from PRX in their approach to be able to take mid though, right? When they're lining up for this combo of utility to try and take out Shiro's position where he got that double kill in the round previously, right? You're seeing these little adjustments come out from PRX, but again from Boom, they themselves are adjusting around the map really nicely as well.
Sao lát đổi hap bắn được các bạn ơi, đổi hap được.
Long, by the way, very disconnected from the rest of the team. He still got a kill, so it was really important that those kills in amongst the street went, you know, which either team's way to bring some stability, but in the 2 versus 2, I mean, Berserks, again, is just coming up with, you know, not the most clutch play in the round to be able to win it, but the fact that he converts that very easily into the 2 versus 1 for the team is gorgeous.
Thầy hơi nhăn rồi. Ngày hôm nay Mai Fit được ngồi kế huấn luyện viên Alex sẽ hiểu những cái lý do tại sao team mình thế này thế kia. Nếu anh được hồi xuân 18 tuổi thì đâu mà. Có chứ em, mà thời đỉnh cao của anh mà. Ui, quái luôn. Ui, mà mình nó bay thế à. Rồi lộ rồi. Ôi, chưa lộ luôn à. Chưa thấy luôn.
So far, though, Famous, his damage is done, right? 2 opening kills, a creep up behind the Nebula.
Oh, man. Still trying to go in off of it. At least the plays kind of healing him back up for just a bit, but Famous instantly deals with it using the shorty. Shira off towards B-Link as well, blocks every single lane. No joy found at all for PRX in this round.
Flawless round to come through from Boom. Every duel won, and Famous is on 30 HP, man. He's not scared to go in for it when, you know, you've got the Blaze Wall coming up from Jing. Why would you expect a player who's on 30 HP to just challenge him with the shorty? You kind of don't, right? But that's what sometimes just the gusto from him to go in.
The morale boost from the previous rounds.
Yeah, well, it's 4
said
in
it
a row.
before, Boom are on a hot streak, and this guy's leading with 15 kills right now.
What did I talk about though?
No, nó đợi yếu, nó đợi yếu.
In his hand, he is looking
Chẳng qua là vấp cỏ tí thôi.
And where is that gun again?
Oh, he's ready to go into Devil Trigger.
Mày thằng này bắn áo quái gì?
Shuts down that run it back from Jing.
Blades out as well.
PRX continuing to look to bully their way through into it. Famous will be able to pull out the blades, but here comes that storm. Back into it with the shorty as well.
Cái đéo gì đây?
Down the line, Berserks to clean things up. Boom, with 7 rounds in their pockets right now.
Man, they're on an absolute ripper of a run, aren't they? 5 in a row to the last round of this half now. That was a complete shutdown. The collateral that comes out. Maybe an overheat.
Xin vô làm vai xong rồi, nãy giờ tôi thấy chắc cũng 2 pha tự nép flash tự mù rồi á.
Not able to find some further positioning. That kill from Divide. I mean, yeah, you'll shut down Famous, but the fact that NC Slasher just gets 3 out of here. I mean, he's hot potatoing all the different weaponry. Berserks, he does not cave under the pressure around that A site that he has made his home. This defensive side of Boom at the moment really coming up a treat. And now for PRX, a challenge in towards the A site, nice and early. Remember, the dimensional drift last time, they went into the site really early to force the plant. This time, Boom give them a bit of this respect deep.
A little bit more. It is the last round of the first half, and Boom sitting on a couple, well, close to a couple of ultimates. They're happy to possibly go for the retake. I mean, you've got the lockdown as well. Something in with the judge, though, trying to buy more time and spacing. Steel Garden popped, and Boom are now all hovering around the site. Shiro in to create some space around Art. Bit of pressure as well with the flash, and that allows for Famous to go for it for peek. Jumping Judge, and he finds the double, and that's the lockdown. PRX has to evacuate the site. Petman unfortunately dug in a little bit too deep, and it's just a Vi off the A main.
Cái đéo gì ấy giờ? Sao ai vô cũng bắn chữa bắn trớ giờ? Mà trước khi vô bắn ăn no căng bụng hay gì á, mày mà căng vô bụng trùng cho bắt hay cái gì á? Chứ ba Black tôi biết nó đâu có như thế này.
Berserk's getting in the lockdown makes things really awkward for them as well. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is Patman going to get out from the middle of the site? The fact that the judge works a treat.
Joe Boy à, vô bắn 2 rau lục tính vãi lồn luôn. Rau lục với rau Hobico.
and then they know where Devi's going to be playing from as well. That is a amazing performance from all of the Boom members in the tail end of that second half. And now the switch up for PRX, right? You got a question. You're playing double duelist, going on towards your defensive side as well. How are their rotations going to look like? How is the timing going to look like? Ingesting Patman in towards this roster now, having Devi on the Astra, because he needs to be really attentive to timing for this team.
It's gonna have to be key. Timing and getting a read for the rotations. PRX have only been showing this single look throughout this first half, repeatedly pushing, repeatedly trying to bully their way through, and Boom have readily dealt with it.
You got to remember as well, I don't know how many people would have expected Pearl to be the pick coming in towards this series from PRX. You look at the history, it ain't that crash hot this year, of course.
Boom's most recent Pearl play as well, back in kickoffs against Nongshin. That was a bit of a loss, but now, looking this way, 8-4 from the first half, they are happy to take this win.
You got to remember, though, as well, there was that match against T1 where they did lose at 11-13, right? There's question marks around that series as a whole. You know, Boom kind of could have won that in my eyes, but they didn't. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of Pearl from them as well. Didn't look the greatest against Nongshin, who just had a really good idea on their defensive side, I'll be completely honest with you. And that's the sort of, you know, questions that I'm posing to PRX right now. How is their defense really going to look? It's a 1-4 split, more structure to the A side, and Boom.
Thôi nói chứ.
They had the idea that this is going to be.
Rồi, giờ nói hát nè, giờ mới bắn thực sự nè các bạn à. Giờ mới bắn thực sự nè.
Run it right.
Certainly able to see a lot across the map.
Các bạn các bạn fan bom kia xinh thiệt. Thấy điên mình nữa các bạn à. Ông nào ra hốt đi. Ôi, đoán trước tình huống luôn mà. TB vội.
You've got the shear that'll eventually be popped by Forsaken. He doesn't need to really rotate currently. And PRX, they're investing what they can around this A site, thinking there might be a rotate back over there. But I mean, this idea from PRX is not it. Like, there's 3 players still surrounding the A side. A drone's coming in from Boom. You spotted out 3 players at long earlier as something. You had to call for the rotations earlier.
Yeah, at this point you're going in for that full retake game, and it's not going to be the easiest. 0 point just to ensure that for something's still right around the corners, and the rest of heaven, everything all blocked off by the smokes. Oh, and here comes the salvos as well. Something continuing to try to sneak something through.
Which means you don't have them for the full post now.
Or at least hang back and hold it long enough. Famous happy to take the fights. The rest of the team all holding
on. Thấy Batman tỏa sáng.
The mini map DOS9, where's he going? Here comes Zero though. Able to find a bit of a double.
Mày anh Jing tính intro tiếp à? Intro hát à?
Oh, it didn't get on the peak. Might be able to surprise PRX. They might have heard a peep as well though. Now getting it off the hand, but in with the classic taps. Instant to Petman before taking down Jing from Boom.
Yeah, that's really nice timing from DOS9. The approximate millisecond before the spike gets halved as well, and then they get vulnerable up by it. Famous just trying to dance around the site. The timing from Shiro within the nebulas as well, that is absolutely gorgeous to come out from him. A well-structured pistol to come through from Boom. A good idea at the beginning, the middle, at the end. Even when they're trying to establish the plant, right? Just getting those salvos down to buy a little bit of extra time. Really well done from them to continue.
Đầu map này map của bom em ơi. Bom bích mà.
Off to the next round as well. Happy to carry forward with this momentum.
Ủa? À đâu? Ở map này của PRX à? Quay đáy à? Chị mẹ nãy mình coi lộn kia.
Once more at this A site. This could be just a bit of a good fight here.
Well, the fight across the map unfortunately goes down the wayside as well. A bit of a flash. Patman will be able to pick up a double, but still met with force. Boom happy to collect on this round.
Yep, double digits achieved from Boom.
Một ra trong
This round is going to be a bit of a do or die situation for PRX to start off as well. If they drop this one, well, makes it really difficult to come on back. But of course, it's not over until it's over.
But it is now or never, Komodo.
Yeah, and on the defensive side as well, right? So you've got to see, are they going to play this 1-4 again? Are they going to get a little bit more proactive up through A? Because currently they're spreading a little default around the map. It's not the worst idea when you're going up against the lesser weaponry, but for Boom, they've got a bit of an A play.
And we have already seen Boom deal with the B site, quite effectively, especially with a 0 point as well. Now back in towards A. Clears out the forward positions.
Shiro went away from the null command as well, so if anyone gives him a peek and they lose their life, that's going to be huge for a post plant if he doesn't get it off the spike.
Wow. Smokes off, and it is Boom trying to look for a possible sheer wall, but instantly sprayed down by Patman and Gang. So Boom having to respect a bit of this space now.
Yep. Creep on up, as saying the sheer can protect them in art. You've got the thorns as well. Whilst nerfed, will still buy a little bit of time. Get out of the wall, there's the thorns. So it really comes down to this 50 seconds for Boom. Do they stay and wait to explode out onto this A site? Not the worst idea, and they're going to go for it.
Will PRX be able to hold? Patman in with the off angle. Tries to hold towards stairs as well. Bit of burst through, and that's going to be that. Patman in with the quad. What a debut. I mean, back in from now.
Đó. Nó vào cái he này đó. Nó vào cái he này đó. Đây rồi. Nhưng tôi bí ẩn. Nó vào cái he, nhưng tôi bí ẩn đây rồi.
Patman, he had a really silent first half, not going to lie, at the back of the pack time and time again, but this time taking the lead for the team. A Nightfall available is going to be a good ultimate to throw into this round, but it does look like here, Quack, might be an early contest up through B long.
Back into it. Oh, PRX pushing up as well, though. Oh, and it's instantly dealt with by Famous and his op.
And what did I say earlier? If
Thằng
you're
bắn
playing
off
these
kiếp
offensive lines as Famous,
để something à?
playing on a little bit of luck and timing, well,
Hay để
Quack
can
didn't
à?
need its mark, unfortunately. Jing, a player that we've seen on Phoenix so often, gets the wrong timing.
Which is rather unfortunate for PRX, and look at how they're all struggling to reposition right now.
Yeah, there's going to be so much emphasis on Forsaken and what he can spot here. Of course, the sheer is not going to be available right now for him.
And you're 5 and 10. You kind of know that Boom are barreling down this B long position. What are the rest of the players doing?
Haunt in, gets a bit of a reveal, but it's all the players from Boom looking to get out into the site. Patman, yeah, that was a bit ill-advised.
Các bạn thấy không? Bắn giải ít khi ai sẽ bóc chỗ này lắm. Cái đường link này để chay luôn. Trái sẽ bóc thường người ta sẽ lái trên Heaven để quanh quay ở dưới City. Để hai trái luôn.
Salvo's possibly coming back online at some point. Hall's not cleared. Hello?
Yeah, not even looking for him. You had to cut a couple of corners there as PRX, I guess. Like, I get the idea. But the fact that no one was just expecting him to play back holes, now you got to call the audible. Guys, we've got to save here. We need weapons going into the next round if we want to try and stop Boom from getting onto map point. I got to give credit to Boom. Like, the ideas that they're coming out with here, Quack, are amazing. The fact that they have that early engagement that they win, they settle down. PRX completely just, like, leave the site to Forsaken to try and defend who's spotting over at Street. How much space does that give Boom to just wait for
Bom đang 2-0, PRX 0-2. What the fuck?
Together as a team.
Or even just the opening pick with Famous on that off. You know, something that maybe PRX were somewhat anticipating, but
làm sao đây? Mày mà thằng này bắn off ảo được.
Oh my god!
That's the luck factor. It's either he spots them before they're blinded, or he gets it on a little bit of luck and timing because Jing is holding W.
Không sao các bạn ơi.
And that's when I would love to hear an interview from Famous where it's not luck, it's just pure skill.
For sure.
It's what is the lyric? It's 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will.
And let's just add in there, it's Famous with an operator. It's just bound to happen.
Currently still.
Hai bạn nữ vẫn cười, còn cười rất là tự tin mà. Tươi lắm các bạn ơi. Vẫn có niềm tin mà.
I want to harp on this issue at the moment. We know how powerful Famous is when he gets the operator in hand on the defensive side. Sure, on the attacking side right now as well, he's still making this gun sing, and there's no rhyme or reason as to why PRX aren't trying to drone him out, you know, sniff him out, get some early positioning, early reads. You know, if you want to try and allow the operator to
áo đề cũ nè các bạn thấy không?
you're gonna have to play a little bit deeper because they're not winning these contests up through B ramp. They're not taking A main control, right? You got to fade on your team if you're throwing in a haunt, you're throwing in some prowlers as well. You want to try and tackle some space, get in some flashes. They've got the flashes to do so.
I'm just hearing a lot of conditions working against PRX right now, Komodo.
100%.
You're working at diminishing returns. This buy, if it doesn't work out, you're facing map point. Famous still on this op, and this time happy to lock down the angles towards mid. PRX though, stack up on towards the A site.
That's 2 suppressed off the 0 point, but there were 4 players in that bound, right? So a couple of dodges out, and now we get some A main control from PRX. They start to shift over towards B, but there's an absence of positions up the alleyway, right?
Lockdown if they do decide to continue to push, not lockdown, sorry. It's going to be the alarm bot, so PRX can't quite push all the way through. Meanwhile, boom.
If they do continue to this B site, time can be bought from Patman on the ult.
Oh.
Nó mid kìa. Ôi 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 ôi.
Can he sustain himself?
Nó tới chơi, nó tới chơi, nó tới chơi. Phát hiện được hai nè. Ôi ôi, từ từ Jing ơi. Nó ngay đây rồi, flash đi, sao lại quắt chay? Ôi trời ơi. Nó lộ đường link rồi mà. Con Richter bỏ nãy giờ dễ gì không có người. Con được búp những Amita à? Cái kỹ năng flash đó nó cần kiểu cái lối chơi của nó hơi khác một xíu. Chơi flash nó được cái là khó né thôi chứ nó không có gây khó chịu ở những cách tầm xa được nhiều. Trừ khi bắn ở một cái đường lon. Hay quá. Đây rồi. Hay. Batman vô tay.
So these rounds have to start accumulating.
I have to imagine it's a really tough thing for Jing to deal with as well. You know, a lot of the fans or fake fans calling him different names as such. But he has to deal with this adversity now. I mean, pushing up in towards A main.
It's the double duelists that are both 6 kills, right? They're not really too impactful in this game so far. 0.53 in A main.
And the sheer wall instantly tripped. Famous on a bit of a journey with this judge currently.
Yeah, do they expect him to be pushed through connector? The Prowler goes into him, and the Prowler has just seen Famous, by the way. So
rồi, khó. Biết rất là ngay đây mà.
Judge,
hay ra. Ôi, Batman lên tiếng. Thằng cuối connector. Cuối ngu.
You've got 4 more to go.
Yeah, you need those gimmies. If there's a lesser equipped round to come through from Boom, you need those ones, you know, in a flawless capacity or, you know,
đây rồi, đúng rồi, đây rồi.
What they do there and really good conditioning as well, right? That shear goes up, making sure as a team that they're covering the alleyway still. If street is lost, they're making sure that connector is prowled out if there's anyone close as well. So the ideas and the fundamentals of space clearing is at least still there for the team to get.
Starting to wake up a little bit. You gotta love the running back from Jing just to find where Famous is, but yeah, that was, you know, a bit of a half-eye round from Boom, and here comes the full force back into A. They've started to read for how PRX have been, you know, getting that early A main presence.
And if this was a quick A take from Boom as well, they could eventually have the gate crash over from something, which I believe, it's not made it all the way back into the spawn at the moment, but he does have the operator over at the B site, so you'd almost want to kind of not see him just fully disconnect from B here.
Alright, he does kind of crash towards the back for a bit. Boom hasn't made a single peep thus far. And this is when they start to push down B link. Good pop flash as well. But Forsaken playing it safe.
Yeah, Boom, a minute on the clock still. They would have to...
Nó bà đà. Về A đi. Ở A nè. Đúng rồi, thả chó chết hay quá. Có thông tin. Ui léo. Ngon, mày hả con? Một đứa nướng. Hai. Ui. Hai luôn, nó đấu hai luôn mà. Ôi. Anh vài bắn Astra chớ vậy. Tôi thấy Astra nên để cho Mai Phích bắn hay hơn. Đây. Anh đi rồi, từ từ thôi.
Lose this and it's map point for Boom. He's got an op Komodo. Peeks the close angle, swaps to the shorty, finds NC Slasher, and swaps to a rifle.
Cuối của hai ông đây nữa khó chứ.
But it's 2 players holding up by stairs. He taps, creeps up front, not quite finding Berserks. It's Berserks who slashes him with a giant sword, and that's going to be Boom reaching that crucial map point.
You got to remember when those walls are up as well, your gun technically spotted first, so the fact that NC Slasher grabs that third kill on 5 HP is absolutely ridiculous to come on out. I was thinking it was a little bit claustrophobic around this side at the moment. I mean, that shot is just absolutely brilliant from him, not gonna lie. Boom, they immediately answer back after the 2 that PRX get. And now it's 5, right? It's 5 map points for Boom to close out Pearl here. PRX's pick.
Oh my god, and PRX decide to push without stopping a single beat. The salvos will slow them down, but Jing happy to fire back. Divide with the support as well, but what is the spray transfer from Shiro? A bit of presence found by Forsaken, but now smoked downstairs. He continues.
Trời ơi, sau lưng anh Cường ơi.
Shiro lets him slip. And DOS9
Hey.
price Forsaken
Ôi.
collects with the triple, finds a round for PRX.
Bá tưởng pha này nó đấm luôn rồi chứ.
There was 4. Shiro. Nice plays off the
Comeback được các bạn ơi, 4 round thôi, 4 round thôi, comeback được. Hay yếu tiền à, chết mẹ hay yếu tiền.
The fact that Forsaken's able to at least bring that down into an advantageous position as well, right? There's a couple of these duels that go a little bit haywire. PRX, how blinded were they in main when they first tried to take all of those duels, right?
Yeah, I feel like Haywire is putting it kindly at this point. This is a really dicey situation for PRX to be in, and every round still cut so close.
Yep.
Boom now in with a bit of another half buy. Famous on the Bucky, Berserks on the Guardian. Everyone watching with bated breath.
Pretty much. Back on this operator line as well. Seen a couple of those lopsided shots from something. That's bad.
Hay.
Good flick. And that deters any more peeks from Boom further down his B position. Into B link though, and that's where Patman takes a hit.
Ôi, đừng chớ, đúng rồi. Ồ, mày anh xin chớ là chết đấy. Hay. Bú rào.
For additional support, the spike on the ground. Famous looking to pick it up, has the Bucky, and he fires off a shot. Pump action indeed.
Tham Minh kìa, vừa cầm cho flash luôn mà.
His blades up here. There's a chance if PRX give him all of these 1v1s.
Forsaken though with this angle, really tight. It's not going to be doable for Famous, even if he does peek through.
He wants the other gun. He wants to get the Sheriff, the sidearm. I don't know if he got it. I don't think he did.
Don't think so. So still with the Bucky, he tries again, but shut down by Divide, and PRX still hanging by a threat, but slowly.
Xin được đúng 2 kill à? Đây mới được thêm 2 kill đó nè. Mới bú được thêm 2 mạng nữa nè. Ổn bắp chứ. Thêm 2 mạng này là ok rồi.
You're going to have to rely on a couple of those pivotal ults.
Yeah, very much so. But I have to say, in this round, Jing redeeming himself with that little double, holds down the line for PRX, has to keep that up for the rest of the map if they are to convert this into an overtime. This is PRX's map pick.
Well, that is certainly the scary word to be saying when we consider Boom. But we'll see. Contest over towards the B side early on. Drone to push Forsaken back. Timing on the deeper Nebula. That's the 1-4 setup again here for PRX, where they really need to start to have some rotates back over here. Boom, though, not necessarily needing to stay at this B site either. Some lurks over towards A. You've got Patman, who's actually just prowled in the street to clear both sides. So there was, you know, positions around the map that Boom technically could have snuck into.
Got to be very careful as well, though. I mean, you mentioned those ultimates from before, Komodo. PRX has a few, but Shiro has the null command.
Yeah, but it's the passive approach from Boom at the moment that if they do let the timer go down extremely low, those ults could essentially just win the round for PRX.
Shiro across the
spam
map
đi,
as well.
spam trúng rồi cái đi.
Get a read for where PRX have set up.
The 0 point did just get something on this deep.
Đây gần như cây rau thôi, chứ lên tới round 11 tụi nó giữ bắn súng lớn đúng không?
Careful, buddy. He does have the op, so looks for an escape route again. And this is where Boom recollects themselves towards his B site. PRX's rotations.
Forsaken starts to rotate towards the A site, but you do have 3 players here. Remember the Haunt, the Nightfall here from Patman is going to be huge.
Boom keeping them split 3 and 2. Nightfall does find its mark.
Hey.
Jing in with a run it back as well. Defy to receive first contact.
Yep, they've called
and
it.
That is the entire round.
Ôi.
There, Jing finding and dealing
Cố nhiên được thêm một mạng kìa. Ngon.
10 seconds and boom.
Win rồi, win ra rồi. Hot time.
As I said,
PRX. Starting to look alive, starting to come alive, but Shiro! What is that? Microflicks again. Divide answer back as well. NC Slasher to find a little bit more. It's not bad in terms of economical damage.
Yeah, all the damage at the end there, I mean, it's pretty costly for Boom, not gonna lie. You're opting for the save and you only take one gun out of that previous round. There's a discussion to be had here, that is for sure. What did I mention about the ultimates that are gonna be there, right? As soon as that Nightfall comes down, that pretty much staves off Boom from being able to get in there. It doesn't matter that the null command goes in as well. When you're trying to just get in towards the site, you've got to give yourself a little bit of breathing room if you've not destroyed a lot of that Vice utility, if you've not found anyone on towards the site, right? That's a little
Không để cho nó để
too
trứng.
passive from Boom in that position.
And that's going to be the final timeout of the match being called by Boom. Can they find their round? 2 chances left, Komodo.
Yep.
And PRX have been starting to get a grasp of how Boom are looking to attack. They've been able to read some of the rotations across. Or maybe not even quite, just trying to read for how Boom are trying to work their way across the map.
Yeah, but any slip-ups on the PRX side, and you got to consider as well that that might be the map done and dusted, right? So I wonder how passive that actually makes PRX here.
This is going to be quite tricky for sure. I mean, the ultimates are already spent now.
On the brighter side for them, I guess, if you want to try and have a silver lining in the superstitious environment, they have lost their first maps in both of the series that they've played so far against DRX and Gen G, and then won the second map. Maybe that'll happen here too if they do lose this.
I don't know, Komodo. I'm not a very superstitious guy myself, but we will see. PRX have been known to be a little bit superstitious themselves, but at least for now, needing to read the map incredibly well. Divide does have the Cosmic Divide. It is Boom on a bit of thrifty, though.
If this round does go PRX's way, you will have the Armageddon on NC Slasher as well as the lockdown, unless you want to try and get them in this round where you now have a player advantage.
The pistol kill.
This will push something off the line. They know that the operator is around this A site, but do
Mẹ mới đi ra đi vô xong anh Jin rất đài rồi. Chuyện gì xảy ra vậy?
Oh, they do invest the lockdown.
Ôi!
He saw Forsaken. He saw him as well.
And that's a lot of info. Lockdown investment might find its return right now. Armageddon pushes PRX even further, and that's famous with the blades! A lot of space being collected on by Boom. Just 2 players out from PRX to confirm. Is it doable? Not quite! Justify left, and he's spotted out by the back, knives in towards the neck of Defy. Famous finds the round. The final score at this match, 13-10.
A flawless thrifty to come through from Boom. Would you have it any other way? A classic PRX moment. Unfortunately, I can't believe that has happened when you think that they should be gimmied the round, Quack. They make it difficult for themselves. DOS9 had a shocking start to this map, but the timing he has just found in that round for the 2 kills and the repositions for the rest of the team to explode out into that site, oh my.
We can feel a little bit critical right now as how the round has played out, but you gotta give credit where.
Không sao các bạn ơi. 10-12 là cũng ok rồi. Map bích mà, map bích của Bom mà. Map sau mới là map PRX các bạn ơi. Yes sir.
Just a lot going the wayside for PRX, and it doesn't feel good at all.
I mean, with that last round, what I talk about, right? If they can get the Armageddon and they've got the lockdown, the blades that eventually come through from Famous as well. I mean, a couple of ultimates can.
Ủa sao mà trên đây lại hiện bích của Bom nhỉ? Hồi nãy ngoài kia tôi đọc là map bích của PRX, còn ở trên góc này đó là hiện map bích của Bom à. Ủa ảo ma vậy? Bây giờ tôi gọi là map này của ai?
Anything in this series.
Yeah, at least we did find a little bit of a quad from Patman on his debut match, but we'll need to see a lot more for the next one coming up. I've mentioned it before, you know, these hungry beasts are incredibly hungry for their playoffs position. How is the desk feeling, though, I wonder? I mean, big time Pilsky, they look pretty hungry themselves, but how about you, Victoria?
I ate lunch like a responsible person, so I'm not hungry. I feel a little sick, actually, personally, with this. But I have to say, Big Time and I were losing our minds throughout the course of this map. I think it says a lot about both of these teams. But Boom undeniably look so good.
I'm hungry for some more Boom gameplay. Let's go map 2. I don't need to break this down, but that was honestly very impressed by Boom that game. Have to say.
Hai bên này chắc chắn
they have so much discipline, the way they trade each other. I mean, this is an incredibly solid team from a macro perspective.
Chắc chắn là hai bên bứt báp cho nhau các bạn ơi, không sao nha. Bứt bắp cho nhau, bứt bắp cho nhau. Làm được, game sau. Bứt bắp cho nhau. Ôi. Cái sau có thể thua được kìa. Bên kia bắn eco, bắn Serif còn hay hơn bắn rifle nữa mà.
I think overall what impresses me so much about Boom in that game is the discipline and the structure, the way they played those XVXs in the mid to late round on attack.
Batman ra sân thì cũng ok nhưng mà không có mấy cái impact á.
Boom are playing with discipline and
ông này không chơi game
now, and the way that some of those rounds are structured, I really want to know what's going on behind the curtain. I want to know, like, because Boom, they've been this core that's been together for such a long time, guys, and you know, it feels like they're unlocking a new level and they're fixing a lot of the issues, at least in some of these games, that have been holding them back for a long time.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I feel like this is a different Boom, even from what we saw at Ascension, right? I don't think their style was at all like this at Ascension.
They were all over the place at Ascension. They would smash one game, they would get smashed one game, they would throw rounds all the time, but you know, I mean, they should have even won the Ascension Grand Final.
Chắc là bứt báp cho nhau thôi. Phải giữ vững niềm tin các bạn ơi. Phải giữ vững niềm tin. Làm được. Lọc fan thôi, lọc fan thôi. Lọc fan thôi.
I don't think so. Totally agree.
I think it's really interesting. I mean, the main point here is that a lot of the squad has been together for a really long time, has been playing through Tier 2, has been playing in various tournaments, but we haven't been seeing him play at this level. And the question, of course, is what changed? We talked to Six Fingers about this. What do you bring here as the head coach? He didn't even want to be the head coach, but he's like one of those guys like forced into the leadership position, and those often make the greatest leaders.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that he wanted to do was keep the fundamentals of what Boom is really good at, which is just damn good aim. And they're really raw, really fearless, but then cleaning a lot of that up, and we see that come through today. And we were talking about this in the green room, just how impressive they are, and they belong like amongst the greatest right now. If they continue at this level,
for sure,
this Boom looks fantastic.
Thua 3 game lại nhà ha, khả năng vậy em ơi. Mà tại vì có điểm nữa đâu, giờ có bắn thắng cái trận sau đi nữa cũng đâu có đủ điểm để đi tiếp.
He had like 5 opening kills as well, and his util was so on point. I mean, it's an agent that just got a buff, and he's using it bloody beautifully right now. You can even see it in the calling structure on attack. Like, there was one round where they went B late round, but you can see he's like flashing the opposing op off the line before.
Mà PRX chỉ đang gọi là lọc tí fan. Lọc tí fan với lại gọi là mình thử thách challenge, hiểu không? Mình làm tí thử thách. Thử thách đi từ dưới đi lên cho nó có độ khó.
Big ultimates. We see the Yoru ult, we see the Phoenix ult, Vice ult. They have a lot of potential to be able to win these rounds. And for me, this was the problem in the first half. They only managed 4 rounds when they have such powerful ults. If you're cycling them, you're using them well, you should be able to win these rounds. We see the Steel Garden, and they lose a body before they even get into the site. So this has to be aggravating for PRX. A comp like this, your ult rounds are the most important rounds. They need to convert those, especially if they're playing a similar style across these next 2 maps, because you cannot be wasting the value that these massive ultimates provide.
I mean, they have it's Pearl attack side, guys, and they're not even playing one of these crazy.
Team dạo này PRX bắn thấy bắn chớ nhiều quá, kiểu sấy nhiều á. Cái để ý không?
I mean, the opping presence of Famous was very difficult for them to deal with. Make no mistake about it, but with the start they got, I mean, Jin got a bloody ace on the pistol. You're playing a snowball duelist agent like Phoenix. You should be just chaining those run it backs together, back to back to back, and start running away with the attack side. And they just didn't. I don't think they got enough value out of the double duelists. Patman, by the way, welcome to VCT Pacific. He had an insane round holding the A site, and I think he did perfectly fine on the fade. And once again, Forsaken just continues to be the best player in PRX, no matter what bloody Asian or role you put him on.
I am really curious, speaking of Patman here, because we saw
hình như
happen with some of the other rookies that
cờ mới ra mùa mới đúng không? Để mốt mình ra tập chơi cờ.
like Talon, for example.
Ở đây có ai
was
chuyên
really
cờ
nervous
nhỉ?
the first map. This is Pat's first time on Pacific, first time out of the country. So this must be a massive first map for him. This could be a bit of a hopium or copium, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that this is a trend for a lot of the teams. So good performance nonetheless.
I mean, it's a very different environment, right? So it does require different things. He's quite lucky in the sense that he has such experienced players down there with him who should be able to guide him through, settle him down into map 2. But his performance was good. I thought Patman was solid, but I felt like just as a team they were not on the same level as Boom. I feel like Boom were like, you know, it's a liquid, it's flowing.
Còn cánh cục bên kia nó ổn không ta?
PRX, I didn't quite get that vibe.
They legitimately, at times, I felt like I was watching like a structured EU team. Like I was watching a team that plays on the world-class level, and they were punishing mistakes. They were making really good mid-round calls. They had
Trông nó
this
không
crazy
ổn lắm
lobby
nha.
presence. Like I thought I was watching a really structured, really strong team, which you know I used to a lot of holes in the gameplay for Boom, but they are legitimately playing their way into maybe being like a really top-tier team in Pacific.
Tóc thì nghèo đó,
right
tóc
now.
gì?
Absolutely. I think at this point when we were talking about, okay, Boom's here, this is really exciting. Now at this point it's like, Boom could be in the finals.
Yeah, I was copium in the pre-show before. I was like, they only played Gen G. They just changed players. Their last game, that map actually did kind of convince me a little bit.
A lot of things have changed about it. Now Ascent's going to be the next map, and this is Boom's pick. PRX, the last time we saw them play Ascent was, I believe, in the off-season where we saw them play the meta, the old Ascent meta for the very first time, and completely dominated and shocked everyone. Maybe disappointed some people. Are like, what? You were good with this meta the whole time?
I think it was off-season experimentation, and they were really playing around with the roles because PRX for quite a long time has just been a little bit lost in terms of what they're doing. It's a map that historically they have not really played. They have been panning it. They've let it through in the veto and chosen to pan Haven instead. When Boom have had a really good game on Ascent against Gen G, you can see right there, they once again will have to start attack. Was not a problem for them against Gen G, although to be fair, they did kind of bully suggest that game. And I'm not, if Forsaken's on the Senti this time, I don't think you're going to be taking advantage of him this series.
The thing I worry about for Boom with this map too is that their Ascent isn't as flexible as something like the default comp is, right? When you swap out Phoenix for, you know, you take Jet out, put Phoenix in, you have a lot less options. So I'm a little bit worried that it could be readable. So PRX, this should be a kind of anti-stratable map, but we've seen PRX ban Ascent the last 2 weeks. So it clearly isn't a map that they love. I think they've left it in for a reason, so I think they'll have some kind of read, some kind of anti, but it's how good that is and how much Boom have been able to change since we saw it in week 1.
That does sum it up pretty nicely. We are in week 3 of stage 1, and we still don't know how this is gonna go. It's just, we haven't seen enough yet, but we're gonna find out a lot of answers today and how PRX does on a map like Ascent. Personally, I'm not sad to see the Haven go, especially with Patman coming in. Mindfreak is not playing the Haven, and it looks like there was a lot they need to rework on it anyway. So with Ascent, I don't know if it's gonna be too crazy from PRX. They've been doing a lot of crazy things, but
I mean,
Chơi cờ, chơi cờ mùa mới là chắc cũng dễ tìm hiểu đúng không?
At the same time, though, we'll see what we're going to get. Like we've said, it's not a map that they're super comfortable with. They are going to get to start defense first. I mean, that's always a bit of a comfort zone for Ascent. At the end of the day, let's see what we're going to get. Agent comp-wise, especially from PRX, I don't think Boom have any reason to really change up what they were doing. It worked great against Gen G. So for PRX, especially the roles, we got to take a little bit of a look here. Jing back on the controller there. You're going to get Forsaken on the Fade. There's a lot of choices in terms of init, and they've chosen Fade KO with something back on Jet, and Devi's going to be on Senti. So they are just all over the place with roles right now. Let's see how it's going to work for them.
So we see Boom sticking with that same comp, and I think if we talk about the Fade, I think the Fade is very strong in the mains. You can prowl, you have a lot more util in a sense to clear that kind of enclosed space with your prowlers. So I think they're going to try and take it to the Phoenix, who's trying to dominate those.
Cũng từ ra Ico trong này à? Ủa vậy tính ra là cũng là ná đúng không?
Anti-pick of a comp.
Well, whoever it is you're cheering for today, I'm pretty sure all of us want a full series because we want to see more PRX versus Boom. We're going to send it back to our casters Komodo and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those where we want to see a lot more from PRX, not just in terms of the maps being played either, but it's just the fact that you lose this, and this severely hurts your chances at making it to playoffs.
Yeah, you'd be 0-3 if you lose this one in this map as well.
Cho nên map này PRX làm được. Map này PRX đấm hết nha.
mouth in Pacific. Boom, 3-2-0 games. Ridiculous. But for PaperX here, Quack, we do technically have something new to come out for them. It's back to the old, we're not playing meta Ascent comp, but it's also Devi, I believe, making his first appearance on the Vice.
Yeah, we'll see how that works for him at least. His Astra on Pearl wasn't too shabby. But ultimately, overall, as a team, needing to find so much more. And Boom's
KO à.
comp
Ben
working wonders
chơi
against
KO à.
Gen G just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, this looks like it might be a bit of a quicker one over towards the A site. Berserk's down on the lurk with the mid creep up.
Rồi rồi, hình chuẩn rồi các bạn à.
So you wait out
Mẹ
these
rồi hình trước
thorns
giống như
and
test hay gì sắm thiên chơi Euro à.
Thorn setup does buy time, allows for something to find that pinch in through the smokes. Though, ooh, Patman, a little bit of a tricky spot, but at least his teammates are right around the corner to bail him out. Famous, trying to stay alive, trying to do as much damage as possible, holds out the curveball, and that's where something pounces. Able to pick up the pistol for PaperX.
Alright, well, we're here big time talking about the Prowlers out through the lanes, but let's just forget about that, and let's just take some good old-fashioned gunfights together.
Tên anh đi let's see à.
And then back over towards the
À đu let's see đúng không? Map này PRX xin nhẹ game đó, mình tới game 3 luôn. Game 3 về map tổ ong của map chuyên của PRX. Anh Ốc thường xài TKL hay 60 á. Anh thường sẽ xài nếu mà anh chỉ chơi game thôi á, anh chỉ chơi game thôi anh sẽ xài 60. Còn nếu mà anh vừa chơi game gì là việc edit nữa thì anh sẽ nên xài 80.
A bit of an information play in towards this B main area. Smoked off, sheer wall tripped. And Boom happy to hover around.
Yeah, we'll see how much damage something is going to be able to find in this one. He's got his teammates with him as well, of course, so far. So good.
Dạ hơi chớ nha, hơi chớ nha.
Yeah, a little bit of a duck hunt, especially the Marshall in play.
Hey.
Back with that classic being done to PaperX's economy.
Hey.
Forsaken in with the ghost again, though. He had a quad from before. Can he find another one in this round? It's gonna be Patman who does quite a bit of damage to Famous, but back still.
He has to use the runner back here if he favors his chances, right? He'd get his HP back off it.
Has to get into a good enough position to pop it off, though, at least. Yeah. So I would gamble that Boathouse is great.
45 seconds to play with.
Might be wondering where the spike is as well.
I don't know where the spike is, but the problem is the weapon.
Dạ, Batman cũng bị ăn một viên luôn.
Yeah.
Hay quá.
Timing though. I mean, I respect it.
Anh Thành lâu quá không được chơi Z hay gì á.
Just can't help but wonder, right? Imagine a world in which he does technically use it to either take a first shot out with the Marshall, and he collects with the shot. He then loses it in the trade, and then he's, pistol pull out. He's able to then potentially win it, individual confidence. I mean, you've got the 1 versus 3, where a lot of players might overheat and go quickly for the kill. But
2024 Famous might have done that.
Settles himself. Oh, exactly right, yeah.
It is 2025.
Something operator in the 3rd round for this bonus makes it not look like a bonus.
Em mua hẳn cái Ốc Đảo này luôn à? Ôi chết mẹ thấy à.
Spotted out NC Slasher. Shiro down first though.
Support from Forsaken as well. They do have that sheer all up by B main, so that looks to be PaperX's entire game plan. Push out on opposite lanes, have the Vice utility to block off the remaining ones. Off that instant pick, it's gonna be Prowler to confirm information right now.
I love this adjustment of the sheer up through B, by the way. Unfortunate for DOS that he loses that kill. We saw in the game against Gen G how Boom wanted to just get up towards these choke points and kind of explode, right? That single sheer kind of negates your ability to do that in the surprising fashion.
Yeah, Big Time mentioned that this was PaperX's sort of a permaban from the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Intentionally leaving it open.
Rồi thấy không? Đội map này vẫn có hop liền. Bích map cho nhau.
Boom to pick it, which means that you
probably
would expect a lot of antis prepared and a lot of strats they're going to exploit Boom's current agent lineup.
And I do believe that is what we are witnessing. 30 seconds left on the clock for Boom to save every single weapon.
30 seconds left.
You can look at the positions as well, though, for PaperX. Patman
going on a hunt.
Might be able to snuff out a light.
Ui, đừng tò mò em ơi.
Does get taken away, and the rest of the team looking to hold on to their weapons given their current credits as well.
Yep. And I mean, this is a bonus round, remember? It ain't looking like the bonus for PaperX. 1 Guardian, and the rest, they're going to be able to have that operator taken over, all the Vandals and stuff. They'll build up their economies, so PaperX have put themselves in a really good position here on the back of this bonus.
Hay quá.
So incredibly Well played and well prepared by PRX.
Nó có 3 súng nha, nó có 3 súng nha, nhớ nha, nó có 3 súng á. Bắn cẩn thận. Tôi đọc lệnh cho PRX win game này.
Big emphasis on mid control at the moment for PRX, right? If they are feeling sharper at the moment and they want to individually take the duels, certainly can't falter them if they are going to be winning them.
That they are doing it, you know, as a team. Together, if you've got something peeking down catwalk, you got Forsaken coming out from bot mid.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, losing this round might call for a timeout from Boom, but looking to pull out some answers of their own. DOS9 back on the Sheriff.
Hey.
Oh, something with a peek out.
Yeah, that's really aggressive and really nice
mid.
Because you've dispatched of DOS9. How difficult does Ascent become when you don't have smokes available? You've used your blaze, but you're now caught up in mid by the shear.
Ôi mẹ, dẫn cái tường tuyệt vời.
This round is now very disconnected for Boom, and that's Berserks.
Bình tĩnh, nó đang vào hand. Thằng này đang cứng tay, bình tĩnh. Ui hên quá. Hên có người tray mạng không đa vai ỉ mẹ ơi. Đa vai hôm nay bắn là hơi chớ nha, đánh giá là hơi chớ nha.
If he won that, that would have turned this round absolutely upside down.
I still want to hold my breath though. PRX, we've seen them kind of
something's on the
blunder before, you know. At least, yeah, something is able to watch the right line. Look at this little jiggle coming out from Shiro. Something fires back, re-peaks, updrafts away. NC Slasher still finding an attack. Special delivery at something's feet, but who's on the other side of that?
Hey, chơi mạng hay.
Too narrow focused on trying to find the kill on towards something.
Tính ra anh Thịnh đọc tình huống hay chứ.
Always going to respect the idea in that one, but the 4-0 start from PRX now. We need to see a little bit more early gameplay from Boom go their way. We've seen a lot of aggression from PRX, but not, you know, kind of disrespectful aggression as well, right? They're setting themselves up nicely with Patman assisting with the KO utility, with Forsaken as well, playing his own duels on these lines, and if he needs to, he can Prowler, he can Haunt.
Time out rồi.
Time out from
không time out là ỉa đấy, trôi đấy.
Actually getting contested a lot more in this map than the likes of what Gen G was giving them.
Gotta love that comms are flowing for PRX as well. I mean, something continues to find picks like these, you know, looking to contend against the likes of Buzz, Texture, and Famous for, you know, top op kills.
I mean, you got to think as well, if something is going to continue to get on these aggressive lines, right, what adjustments does Boom do to try and get advantage in those lanes? Well, yeah, you can play on the back of some flashes, you can try and drone them out, you've got 2 drones available on these initiators, you can try and, you know, even molly them out with the salvos. There's options, don't get me wrong, but that's not all that we're seeing, right? We're not just seeing the operator go in from something, find the kill, and the round's done, right? Everybody on PRX is still maneuvering around the map nicely, putting the right utility down at the moment, adjusting their setups around the map.
Quá flash hơi chí à.
A different look towards how this A site now is going to be defended by Divide.
Meanwhile, PRX still looking to possibly abuse this mid control. Alt's starting to cycle now.
Đúng rồi, Phan Công Long giờ ngồi ăn thôi cũng win.
Somewhat smoked off, and something's going to play happily around.
Mình chill thôi là win các bạn.
Is this expected though? Quack, that's the problem with jump spot.
Có thông tin, có thông tin.
Forsaken's tucked in either.
Bay được cho Davai nè. Ai đâu, bay được cho anh Cường nè.
Presence and danger from mid before.
Ui bò đẹp 10 điểm nha, 10 điểm nha. Anh bảo anh tạm thời vào trợ lý huấn luyện viên rồi.
But this could be huge for padding stats.
Does DOS9 turn around? Not quite.
DOS dead first again.
Dink sees Prowler. Forsaken looking to parkour his way in towards a multi-kill.
Hay à, đổi 2 là ok.
Maybe a bit of a weapon handed over onto Boom, but Famous
mắc cái súng đổi 2 là ok.
More pressure onto the site, the blaze wall, the flashes, but something answers.
Anh Thịnh bay, anh Thịnh đang phiêu quá mà. Về cầm con Z cho bắn tự tin hẳn ngang luôn mà.
Berserks has lurked. If this was, you know, a more impactful round where you could potentially, you know, find the winning timing, yeah, amazing. You can't really do anything now that you've been spotted out by Patman, except dispatch of him, but you could not find any space for NC Slasher here.
Fair enough, just to build more points towards that ult, but PRX locking down these angles and sight lines, finding their 5th in this scoreline.
Yeah, and on the back of the timeout, not converting either for Boom, but you would assume it was more of a conversation for this round, the next gun round. and how you want to try and pivot and find an advantage, because really at the moment as Boom, right, we're not seeing them be able to get into these advantage positions. They're losing in these opening fights, they're losing space around the map.
Meanwhile, this is the PRX that everyone has been wanting to see. Can they keep it up? Still, Boom now in with the ultimates, looking to possibly just explode. Not even the quiet creep up.
Yeah, but look who's on the line. It's something, and he's already found
Ôi
a kill. At least there's a trade.
Mày nãy giờ anh Thịnh hơi bắp cỏ nhiều nha, lâu rồi không chơi Z đúng không?
Settling down.
Yes.
Devi is at the B side.
Swatted down, Devi to anchor. Forsaken to check as well. The 0 point will call it clear. Well, that was an across the map 0 point from Patman, who holds down the line up around tree. So Cat is being blocked off now. Does Boom come back in?
Đây nè, đứng cương, bắt hai thằng luôn. Đánh mày làm hai. Hai. Ui, một thằng né flash được kìa. Không sao, hay rồi. Bắt hai rụng là không sao. Ngồi chiêu ăn uống á, mình win game này các bạn ơi. Ban bao rách vua chúa về là cùng rồi các bạn ạ.
Yeah, it's like we were seeing from Jing when he brought out the Brimstone, right? Sometimes if you've got no smokes available, just have your gun up and get ready in all your experience and timing and where you think in that certain position DOS9 might be coming out from. They don't necessarily need to complicate things. I like the mid-round call from, well, maybe I would expect Patman to bring his teammate with him to re-aggress up through catwalk, because we're not seeing initiative from Boom in that situation, right? They have players down, they're still creeping up. There's a really good grasp on this defensive side at the moment for PRX, and Quack, every single round they're changing up how they're playing the early round of these defenses as well, and it hurts Boom because they're not investing these drones really early on, or they're forced to invest all this early utility, and PRX are going to be extremely happy if that happens. They don't have to contend with it for the eventual site hit.
You do kind of want to watch for PRX if they begin to overcook a little bit though. They did leave B a little bit open, but happy to refill back in.
Ôi, mẹ tôi đá là phẳng vô tường nữa thấy. Ôi, chưa bây giờ thấy ăn bánh tráng mà nó ngon như thế này các bạn ạ. Chưa bây giờ thấy ăn bánh tráng mà ngon như thế này.
Smoked off once again. Fragment at his feet, shot through the smoke.
And now NC slash up.
Trying to play and stay alive, close to the spike, flashed and flushed over to the other position. Now slicing the angle, Patman finds him, the stray bullet catching his helmet. It's gonna be PRX with 7 straight rounds in a row.
Yeah, this is the winningest that we've seen from PRX so far, I will admit. They've really got a great idea, and again, it's on the back of something just dancing around on this duelist. Wasn't, you know, really able to do it too much over on Pearl, I will admit, in the early stages especially, but here he's got the operator in his hand, and we're not seeing a way in which that Boom are trying to off-put that. He's just getting really hungry for these duels. What was I saying last time we got to cast PRX? I was kind of like, I'm waiting to see Patman on this KO, because when I watch him, I think that it's his best agent in his position and all of his assistants. And while, you know, he doesn't have too many assists here, it's 4, the timing and the impact that he's finding for this team at the moment, really well done.
Reading the positions as well. I mean, he has been playing these initiators throughout his entire career. Now the shot's through in the fragment as well, just buys time, blocks off the lanes.
Oh, he tried to
hay nè, bắt một nè.
But still, Boom looking to push.
Hay nè, anh Thịnh bắt dao hay nè. Rồi nó BME bắt luôn hai thằng, bắt luôn. Ui anh vai ơi. Không sao, không sao. Biết hai thằng đây rồi.
Possible round for Boom in our midst.
Oh, spotted. Needs assistance though. He's the only one here.
Jing is alone as well. Something to hold the angles, but ooh, shoulder spotted. Not quite the angle to hold. It's all down to Jing as he spins around on a swivel, looking for the DOS9 able to snuff out that light.
Nhả một rau thôi, nhả một rau thôi.
On the board, a little bit of awkward timing from Famous when he rips out that run it back, and he gets instantly shut down from Patman, who, in amongst the Hunter's Fury coming his way, tried to survive by dropping the null command into it and just wasn't able to. Wrong timing before it became activated. I like the crunch idea from PRX as well. Just a couple of these angles, though, finally going Boom's way. I did get nervous, though, at the end there. This 1 versus 3, Jing had 3 individual 1v1s he could have isolated, but just not able to do it there. So the light for Boom is that they're on the board, and DOS9, oh, you are lucky
Hên
that
kìa.
you were able to escape that one because something was ready to take that fight.
Very close to it. And now with that, he's able to lock down this info line across A main. Meanwhile, Boom looking to continue with their assault in towards short. Blocked off by Patman with that fragment.
He's just being such a deterrent though here, isn't he?
Still though, both teams looking to push on every lane. Now back in towards mid. The sheer wall tripped.
Batman hơi thiếu kinh nghiệm xử lý pha này.
Noise making his presence known.
He tried to get some information spotting on top of it if anyone was close towards mid.
Does have to be careful though, because if Boom susses out that he is alone, they might be able to find that opportunity into the B side. Instead, Boom looking to collapse in towards A.
And you have to know that A main is dirty territory. You have to know that something has been pushing here every so often. You've got to watch for it, and they kind of do with Famous taking that position, but he loses his life. So 4-4, now looking for the post plant.
At least numbers found.
Divide as well here, Quack. One away from Steel Garden.
Boom just looking to keep themselves dug deep into the site. Something still back into the sight lines. Boom cannot give up their current positions. Meanwhile, the rest of the PRX B squad, they have to break through the door. Divide finds the first, but Berserk's answers back.
3-3.
Hopping
Hay.
through, Forsaken will
Ôi.
find a collapsing shot.
Hay.
Berserk's to answer back.
Ôi trời em
It's
ăn
gonna be
bánh tráng ngon cực kỳ các bạn ạ.
to clean up the round for PRX.
All of the trades coming through in favor of Paper.
Bây giờ hết bánh tráng nè, giờ còn mấy cái muối, mấy cái tép nhỏ xíu này ăn có thấy ngon nữa các bạn ạ.
The game there is the fact that Famous loses his life towards something, and you've always got it in the front of your mind that something can just peek out through main and just completely win out this round from there. So a bit unfortunate for Boom, but I think more importantly, just very aware for the likes of PaperX that the initiative is we'll get these kills, we'll distract them around the site. We have, you know, an option for something to peek out through main if needed.
And that's a bit of a rare sight these days. Alex celebrating in the coach's room.
He's got someone he can high five now.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Camaraderie.
But hey, Boom looking
Đúng rồi, bạn Batman là thành viên mới mà. Nay được cho ra quân bắn.
With the rounds that PaperX has had so far, something just reinvest into another op.
In amongst the site, in front of the sheer by yourself.
Looking to explode again. Where has Jing teleported to though? Not quite found just yet, and that's going to be the off angle exploited. Berserk's answer back. And now something trying to find close range with the shorty. Meanwhile, the rest of the team looking to waterfall off. It's the Odin spam from Forsaken. The double found Patman dropping down as well. DOS9 now to hold inside of hell. Can he drag them down with him? The spike not planted. And he's pretty much pinned down. Something looking for the shorty kill, and DOS9 knows it.
Oh,
close range op shot.
Quick scope to come out from something to close
ngon
that one.
ghê các bạn ạ.
World in which DOS9
Chưa bao giờ thấy ngon như thế này.
Gets from the shadows and is maybe able to get out to get himself some time, but the spike would have been in a very untenable situation. Unfortunate, but in the beginning as well, right? Famous getting in front of that sheer. The rest of his team is not able to get in to help him at that point in time, unfortunately. He has to try and cook for himself around there where he does find that first kill, but again, it's just the trade game. Well, that's a no-scope. That's that's unfortunate.
That's a slight quick scope.
It's really the trade game at the moment that's coming out from PaperX. They're ahead of it. They're going in quick. They're going in slow. They're really keeping Boom guessing with every single round.
Đưa anh Thịnh về bắn Z là nó quen tay ngay, And
the first looks.
This is a PaperX that is flowing, you know, double keying. They're finding info lines. They're happy to retake. They're happy to go for these fights.
They're in the flow state.
Boom looking to explode right back though. They've had a bit of success into the A site, now looking to create some of it on towards B, especially with this run it back, but now slowed down by that Seize. Forsaken alongside Petman. Both initiators around the site. Odin spam through as well, but nothing found just yet.
Steel Garden can actually be pretty impactful for Divide here.
He is in position, and he pops it off. Spike still down though, and with that Steel Garden in play, the primary's jammed up. PaperX looking to push through. However, Boathouse not quite. Shiro will be able to hold it off.
Bobby man.
Still though. Now Patman trying to push in. Spotted out by Berserk.
Chạy nhiều quá.
Numbers starting to fall down now, and it's just something left. Looks to try to save that up and does manage to get away. And that will be another round for Boom picked up.
He's going to skedaddle on out of there to save that gun because the money is still a bit of a fickle thing for PRX here. But for Boom, that's another round on the board on this attacking side. Some nice repositioning from Famous as well, who once again can't really find anything with the run it back. He didn't immediately die, but he got seized pretty much straight away getting in towards the site. So the only thing he was able to achieve was shutting the market door where one of his teammates was seen and tickled down a little bit, right? Grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter because Boom managed to get on the board. But the best thing that they can hope for at the tail end of this half, I mean, it's going to be the 9-3, right?
That's definitely what PRX has for them at least, but still we'll see if Boom will indeed turn this into a 3. Shiro with the Odin now. And PRX for the first time in a long while, not quite pushing out aggressively.
Yeah. We have Divide with the Stinger, of course, an operator to be heard for something who can challenge around this site. The flash gonna work a treat for Famous.
Goes in for this.
Ôi mẹ mình nhiều flash quá.
Something, bit of a whiff as well. Now spots out Famous, but look at the move.
Ôi. Mẹ mình nó nhảy ra từ từ nó bắt người mà. Hay nè, Batman hay nè, Batman hay nè. Mê cái Batman carry nè. Nó bị điếc, nó bị điếc, nó bị điếc, nó bị điếc, nó bị điếc. Hay trời ơi. Nó phải là như vậy. Không có 92, không có 93 đây đâu. Để tăng tốc độ lại cho các bạn coi sớm nha.
Coming up, very crispy looking on this map.
He's got his patarangs.
He's what?
I'll let myself out. Batman.
Yep. Okay.
There we go.
No. Doors that way.
Thank you.
2-10 makes it very difficult for Boom here if they're not able to pick up the pistol round to start off the affairs, which, to be fair, they've been pretty successful in pistols so far.
That is...
They've lost the first one on this map, they've lost the first one on the first map as well. They got the second, and a couple of the previous series, they're pretty proficient as well.
Batman nghiêm túc quá.
At least looking to make this a quick map so far.
Champion Seoul.
Still have a third one left and unanswered.
Yeah, fracture if we get there.
Don't want to get too ahead of myself though, at least.
Yeah, question mark for me, not gonna lie. I mean, that's the one where Boom had the choice of Lotus.
Ăn chơi nào, chơi nào. Không chơi ai cả, không chơi ai cả. Mình chỉ nhắc nhở nhẹ thôi chứ không hề chơi ai nhá. Nhắc nhở nhẹ thôi.
But at least so far this series has been absolutely delivering on both ends as well. Boom from the first map of Pearl where looking to disrupt PRX's attacks. This time PRX disrupting Boom's attacks. We'll see how it all fares out on towards PRX.
Ôi game này nó nhanh, nó chóng vánh nha.
Just not giving Boom the light of day.
Ba round, 3 more round.
Watch out for at least now Shiro happy to collect on some information. Reinforcements have arrived, but everything has been smoked off as well.
Ôi, anh thần độc bài, anh thần độc bài.
Dive bomb exploding away happily. Shiro in with the shock dart as well.
Ôi, game nó chóng vánh thế à.
Looks for the quad.
Anh từ từ lại nha, cam lại.
Spike will happily go down as well. Not much in terms of utility for Boom, just the paranoia as well as a dark cover. Market being blocked up as well. Not much can be done. And Z-Slasher for a bit of a trade. That should pretty much be it. DOS9 still trying to find as much as he can though, but Divide will happily tap away.
Both pistols go to PRX. Angry something to start off as well. You know, the old classic if you want to take some market control. When KO was, you know, kind of first introduced, we did see it a good idea to get some blades, or you try to get some flashes and some mollies in towards market and send your teammate in, change things up as well. Nice self-sufficient play to come out from something to just dash himself into his own smoke and go for the challenges.
Two more round.
Kind of looking towards PRX.
Hốt. Ồ mẹ, bên kia first by Stinger không luôn mà. Bên kia xác định một sống một còn với round này luôn mà.
They need a leg to stand on. Got to go toe to toe somehow. Try to upgrade some weapons.
Biết phát bài à, biết phát bài.
Overrun on this A side.
Something bay lắm rồi. Các bạn nhìn đi, mà entry bay lắm rồi.
Just to allow them to shut down that door and boom spaces. Oh, look at that, still spamming through.
Something for the opener once more.
Looking like shades of his old self. Still back in the site.
Từ từ lại, một máu. Hạ cái tôi. Thôi ở hạ đi. Rồi cái đéo gì đây.
Tries to reposition into the smoke, but is that going to be enough? The stinger sprays not quite favoring him, favoring Famous instead.
Okay, well, not going to see map point for PRX at the moment. That stinger, I mean, something about the stingers doing things that they shouldn't. Tail end bullet able to find the double there for him, but hey, we're going to see Boom at least hold on and stave off that map point. Most importantly, I think the questions are really going to be, you know...
Cái pha bắn stinger này nó quen lắm nhờ. Tôi thấy ở đâu rồi cũng là một pha xây đôi 2 à. Cũng là 1-2 cái viên cuối bắn vô đầu thằng tiếp theo à.
Still definite chances for Boom to answer back. I do believe there was, you know, a 10-2 comeback for one of the teams in the other regions.
Yeah, if you went to bed at the 10-0 mark, yeah, and then you come back and they lost that, yeah.
So not impossible for Boom.
I was.
Tôi đã bắn cái là phát luôn.
I mean, how could you not? But still, you know, we are in Pacific after all time zones. You know, it is what it is. But Boom happy to find as much as possible. Holding B main down back into its catwalk as well. The drone coming out. Nothing spotted. So just Famous to listen for those pistols clanking through. He flashes and he's looking for kills because Berserk's is right up around the back. He's got the blazes to heal himself off as well.
They played anti for that flash. They expected it, but trades available for Boom. And now Jing. Damage. Just some cheeky damage here. Not going to be able to find it. Famous will have the run it back going in towards the next round, where we're going to get a look onto PRX's attacking side when they've got the weaponry, they've got the Blade Storm available. If something, you know, just wants to kind of jive in quickly, cut them down a size.
And this is where, you know, if you are PRX, you need to recognize what Boom can possibly pull off.
Yeah, I think
recognize the trade protocols.
I think momentum-wise, right now though, for PRX is they're really feeling how they're playing this map and what Boom's weaknesses are currently. The slower pace game that they had on the attacking side, but they are pulling out a play of PRX's, going for the early control. They don't have an operator, but they've got assistance to gain some wing control over at A. Send the rest of the team to look back at the deeper sides of spawn and B.
And that does keep, you know, a single player from PRX invested in towards this possible A main position. So might hurt the numbers across the other portions of the map.
Yeah, those salvos as well give you the idea that Boom weren't 100% confident if PRX had gotten deep enough or not.
It's been 30 seconds and Boom has spent quite a bit just to find information all across the map. Nothing found towards B, and now finding a little bit more towards A, and PRX continue to rotate everywhere.
Yeah.
Back possibly in towards Market. Berserk's is holding the angle though. Finds the first. And continues to burst his way through.
Khó nha.
Hit by the paranoia now.
Cái gì đấy?
Oh, that has possibly got to be the worst thing to happen right now, and that's just a Vi left. Might be able to get his way into the site, but you're 1 against 5, buddy.
But let me tell you the story, Quack. When PRX were looking for map point against Boom, and Devi got the plant and was caught with his knife out, and Shiro took him down.
The end.
The end. No, not the end here. Boom, though, a flawless round to find against PRX's first gun round here, where Famous commands a lot of space over at A. I'm thinking that there is a heavy investment of utility, as you were talking about. Deep mid, shock darts used early in towards tree, a dark cover, a blaze as well, really trying to navigate them down in through towards mid, where there is a bit of a crossfire here, right? Berserk's an NC slasher, very aware, dodging a lot of the utility as well. The fact that the flash comes a little bit late from Patman and the paranoia doesn't take NC slasher there. You know, a couple of differences, right, that could have completely turned the round on its head. But for Boom,
Mà sớm từ cô BRX biết nhiên đều không thể Biến những điều không thể thành có thể.
Just that. Looking to repeat a lot of it as well. Famous still sitting on that run it back. PRX this time on a bit of a half buy. Something does have the blades though.
Shearwall's going to keep some respect over at B main as well for them, so they don't have to really worry about that. I wouldn't mind the idea if Boom want to get a little bit proactive to try and contest into it, but you've got Devi looking after it. It is the lesson equipped round from PRX too, right? But Famous is pushed very far up.
Something that is completely unexpected for PRX, and Famous goes on a tear!
Okay.
Flashes back in just to check even more as well. The spike has been picked up.
Now he can settle.
And he's just happy to sit onto it.
5 versus 2. These are the sort of rounds for Boom that you just need confidence to win it cleanly from here. You don't want to see anyone overheat.
Haven't quite done too much of that, especially not from the previous map either. Boom looking to be a very controlled version of themselves. Something though.
Ôi, cái đéo gì này nữa vậy?
Now the dart has to be dodged from
Mẹ,
Divide.
phút giao đi luôn mà.
Once again, in a 1 versus
Nó
5.
bắt đầu rồi đó, nó bắt đầu rồi đó, dấu hiệu rồi đó.
Oh, he gets one. I didn't see that.
He's gonna find more kills, right?
Nah, probably not.
Straying back in, looking for more sprays. He does!
No way! Oh, bro, I'm talking. It's looking to be a flawless round from Boom. The turret that spots out a player in B main, where something cloud bursted off. You've got an immediate special delivery from NC Slasher. I'm trying to give credit to all of these quick utilities to come out after Famous starts off the round, and then you're running into Dubai with a yeehaw old classic boy, and he just comes out with that. He's on 4 HP, and he gets him out with the stick. Like, man.
A yeehaw classic boy.
Yeehaw classic boy. Hey, our Ascension teams will get their classics soon, all right? Maybe that would be the buff that Boom won.
Very much so. You got to keep your eyes open for that Boom bundle. But yeah, you know, still around for Boom nonetheless. But I gotta love it when Komodo absolutely
these are the moments.
mind.
These are the moments that, if you're watching this game, can infuriate you a little bit because they shouldn't happen.
Oh, I've already. I was already infuriated by yesterday's Japanese games, but
yeah,
we're back into it. PRX, you know, they lost off of a bit of a half buy against Boom in that previous map.
Mày tự nhiên ngưng ăn bánh tráng cái tự nhiên nó hết ngon ngang luôn á.
Maybe starting to go off the flop side again. It's currently Boom with 4 straight rounds in a row.
It's not the 7 that PRX started off with, but with PRX getting the pistol and the fact that Boom force up, they get the second round, they start to build a little bit of character on this defense side of their own. Yeah, maybe there is a world. Famous has the operator in play. He's got to run it back as well. He's currently on 22 kills. I mean, he's putting up numbers. DOS9, though, again, he's feeling a little bit absent today.
At least for now, just providing value with the utility for the team. He's a controller after all. Famous finding his off back in against PRX. That's a double!
Yep, needs to heal though, 30 HP. At least it is an operator, so he can go for another challenge where PRX want to go quickly now into this A side.
Okay, shrouded steps past the door. Forsaken B hops in, gets the door down.
You could use Famous on this run it back as a glorified drone.
That's exactly what he's looking to do alongside the rest of the team as well. But even as a sort of a drone, he finds a kill with a frenzy. Op shots fired back in. They know exactly where Jing is. And Jing looks to survive inside of hell. Smokes out, looks to peek through. Does find the first. Oh, but the shorty makes quick work of Jing, and Boom will be going on with another win. That's 5 in a row now.
Tried to have some options with the dark cover to dance around a little bit, didn't he? Here's the reload of the shorty. You're going to get the idea that you want to go for that pick, but then DOS9 maybe just needed to hear me get mad at him, call him out, I don't know. Great start for Boom. Again, on this operator from Famous, it feels like he's got the magic touch at the moment when that gun is in his hand.
But I do want to question this, Komodo. Maybe if I could pose it to you.
Go for it.
PRX's attack looking a little bit lackadaisical. We saw that on Pearl. They
Cái
continue
gì
to
bây
try
giờ?
to bully
Andy, McBoy đi.
It appears like they're doing that again on towards Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, like, we know PRX are proficient on attack. We've seen it on Fracture, for example. We also know, like, a map like Lotus, for example, Boom are pretty good on attack too, right? So coming in towards Ascent right now, where they're also looking pretty hot for this comeback, they're putting up their defenses. NC Slasher starting us off for 2.
Op still continuing to sing as well. PRX. Some
Quyết
point,
tâm nó không mắc bôi mà.
you gotta find other solutions.
How do you get Patman up? Your molly.
You can't.
It goes a bit deep and now
Trời
it's done.
ơi.
5 versus 3.
Mà sao nhìn cái bảng kêu càng ngày càng hiện người á.
An exit if they need 2 ultimates that they can invest here, a lockdown, an Armageddon, but at this point in time, Quack, there's a minute that you're gonna let PRX just simmer in the fact that this round might be unachievable. It might be the 6th round in a row for Boom.
I feel like it would be.
Yeah.
PRX looking to save right now.
Now you can
Definitely needing the time to simmer and to discuss things over.
shift into podcast mode for a minute, you know. The fact is, though, in these sort of situations for PRX, as long as they're protecting their guns, they can use this as a bit of a talk time for the team, right? And most importantly, how are they going to get this next round on the board? Device got its Steel Garden. You could pop that for a bit of an explosion for something to get in towards the site and maybe gain a bit of an advantage duel.
Phải nhái à, đã bắn retake B kìa các bạn.
Possibly for the next round,
đâu?
and that's going to be this round's episode of Rex Chat. Welcome.
Oh, we missed it.
Xếp xuống rồi.
PRX, our first one. That's when that would have come out.
Still though, definitely needing to find some answer to.
Dồn hết 5 người bên A luôn mà, cho cái B luôn.
Coming out from Boom or the Op in the hands of Famous, currently sitting on top of 25 kills. I mean, he was putting up huge numbers in that first half, even though Boom was still, shaking a little bit on their attack.
Certainly having a map for him, that's for sure. You know, we get a lot of these teams in our region that sometimes you've got players that are very consistent in the mid-range. You've got players that just have these absolutely brilliant maps. You know, Famous is having one of those ones at the moment.
This time positioned in a safer position off of the timeout. Possibly anticipating some kind of a burst coming out from PRX. PRX, though, slowing things down a little bit.
I think on the duelist role at the moment. Famous trying to do his best Yudotan impression, leading by example. Different agents and such, but they did go against each other previously, remember, and Yudotan dropped 28 kills, so see if Famous is going to be able to put up those numbers.
At least currently still on the A site, so PRX trying to cut noise. Looking for that explosion into the B site. Oh, it's going to be an Odin.
Yeah, it's not going to reach its mark, though.
Especially with the map changes currently, but
There you
the
go.
Armageddon will hit its mark.
Really nicely done. Steel Garden is going to essentially be countered by the Armageddon. You've got the lockdown if you need. Time to be bought by those salvos. This shield
Khui tôi đập bên Jack lấy vía nè.
has it later for the
Wow.
fight, of course, but 40 seconds, a lot of this input utility is gone.
Đây rồi, 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 đoàn kết là ăn hết, đoàn kết là ăn hết, đúng rồi, đoàn kết là ăn hết. Cuối trong sai, hấp diêm đó, hay, yes sir. 4 vs 2, đừng throw, nhớ lại những gì mình đã trải qua.
There's a Vandal on the floor.
Yeah, possibly going to pick that up. Support from DOS9 as well, who has been good on the clutch. At least to create a little bit more space. Will they make their way through to the lanes or from stairs? Split pushes for sure, but something happy to trade. Off to the other end as well. That's going to be Jing to clean up. PRX finally reaching towards map point.
Well, that's what they were waiting for,
Đây rồi.
right? The 6 rounds in a row that we
Match
didn't
boy,
see
match boy,
from
match boy.
Boom. This time, they hold off all that early utility. They can't get in towards it when they invest the Steel Garden, but that lockdown just not able to be protected by Berserks. You highlighted that Famous was on the other side of the map. They had to run a marathon to get towards this B site, and it was a little bit too late. And this is credit to
Đây rồi.
PRX gave
Vô
themselves
rồi.
in the first half, right?
All they need is just one more round, but still 4 chances for Boom to try to really push this all the way through to overtime. Well, I mean, 0 chances actually, but still. Okay. DOS9 digs himself deep into Wine, and he slashes with the op this time. Will be able to block off Catwalk.
Yeah, would you expect that one? Shiro, though, onto Forsaken as well. Jing able to at least establish one, but no trades. So Boom will hold player
Tham mình nhảy
advantage
xuống.
times 2. And they just
Bắt
have
được
to
có
make
1
sure
và 3
they
ông
control
rụng
this
rồi.
one from here. Good crossfire in through mid on the back of the alarm bot.
Discipline and positions still. Pop flashed over.
Hay.
Peaks.
Hay nè.
And Patman.
Làm được nè. Làm được nha.
Two very nicely calculated 2v1 duels there, by the way.
Có một này hot flash.
NC Slasher could possibly swap the weapon over onto a rifle if they are to go for this retake, but Vi, happy to read, pushing further on through as well.
The Shear's just going to give up all the information. You know the flank is where it's coming from, and you're just going to play protected at the back of the site, because time is your friend now as PRX.
Fragment 2. So Salvos block off stairs, special delivery, and he's looking to find a bit more space, maybe looking to pick them off. PRX cannot make a single mistake. Divide with the peek out though.
Can't miss a shot here, Quack.
Now on a one-on-one.
Đi lên sớm quá, ngồi xuống kéo ghế ngồi xuống các bạn.
For the drop. The op still a very lethal threat. Hops on over with the shorty, and Patman creates more space in between him and his opponent just to bring the score
Làm sao?
over the finishing line.
Bấm ngay.
The scoreline is going to be 13-8, and PRX will push us into a map number 3.
Well, we're kind of questioning what is this ascent map gonna look like for
Vô địch.
PRX when they haven't played it in quite some time, right? Banning it out most.
Đây sẽ là bước ngoặt để chúng ta tiến tới vô địch.
Against Gen G, but they weren't able to, you know, kind of exploit any weak links on the side of PRX here. Really strong to start off.
Bước ngoặt đây rồi.
I don't know if I would say exactly that though. I mean, the second half definitely did look a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, you know, 10-2 half, right? You gotta. I mean, you got to remember that they just did not give themselves enough rope there.
That is definitely true. Something that PRX can pull off when they are in that flow state, finding a lot of these opening picks, you know, pushing together as a team, blocking off a lot of these lanes, preventing Boom truly from mounting an attack.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we get to see Fracture before it does get deleted again. And that's where we go for our third map of this series, Quack.
Yeah, that's definitely what we are looking forward to at the very least. A very explosive map for sure between both teams that can play very
Map
fast.
3 thôi. Let's go.
But currently at least
Let's go.
the teams and the desk to talk over because
Let's go.
are not backing down from this fight. Again, looking for that playoff spot. Meanwhile, PRX trying to stay afloat in the entire, you know, group. At the same time, yeah, we'll just toss it right over onto the desk to break this entire map down before we head over to our very beloved Fracture.
Ugh, this series is giving so much from Boom and PRX. PRX
Đây rồi.
down with their ascent, aren't they? They look like they're pretty good at ascent.
I think everyone. I thought Alex was supposed to be on fraud watch. I thought we needed a coach to come in and teach us how to play ascent. I don't know, that defense.
Map của PRX đây, Fracture.
At the same time though, the Boom had already shown a lot of
Map của PRX đây rồi.
versus Gen G last week, and it really felt. I mean, you
Fracture đến chơi.
Comp-wise, as soon as we saw the comp stat, you felt like it was a little bit of like a, you know, a counter strat or a soft read in terms of compositional choice. And I think definitely when I saw how it unfolded and the way they played, knowing how Boom likes to play their attack, they like to be very direct. They were bullying Suggest on Gen G last week. They were hitting the mains hard a lot of the time, or playing like map control into hard site execs. And PRX just did not let them do any of that. Something got on the op right from the bonus. Both the KO and the fade were just getting in their face with basic util. They were always active and taking something and contesting Boom before they could really get off their execute.
Yeah, those are the three things for me that make me kind of feel like this is a deliberate sort of anti-strat. Number one, something in mid with the op all the time. Never gave them the mid space for free, which is exactly what you want to do against this Phoenix comp.
Yeah.
Number two, they have the fade to counter in the mains. And number three, they have the Vice, whose wall can't be destroyed by Sova or Teo util. So I feel like they had every answer, especially in that first half. You know, things sort of flipped on their head as we got in that second half. But, you know, as Komodo kept saying, is I feel like the gap was just too big after that first half.
Can I just say, we know that Jet isn't really being used that much anymore. We saw her on the last map, and I am so glad to see something back on the Jet instead of Breach or, you know, something else.
Yeah, I don't care what's meta. Just put them on comfort agents.
Yeah.
Like, let them
Mà
be
thằng
comfortable,
Formal
let them
bắn
play what
cũng
they
gắt
wanna
nha.
play. PRX has never been a
Trận này
conventional
hơn là có
team
mình nó
that
bắn
doesn't
nhiều
need
quá
to
chứ.
Famous again put on a
Chỉ là Batman MVP à, mà vẫn là Batman MVP à. Căng đấy. 16 sát mà vẫn là MVP à. Khiếp.
Looked like they were running into some issues. Boom's defense was looking really good. I like the
Đúng là không uổng xách người mới ra sân ha các bạn ha.
Being very far behind, and then they started to come back into the game on the defense, but PRX.
Nhưng mà mỗi tội là Batman bắn đang bị tròn vai nhiều á. Không có đột biến cá nhân nhiều.
Yeah, for sure. You know, as we say, it's all about their defense. But even then, you know, Boom were making that comeback. that last round was a 4v2.
Oh,
4v2 for Boom, and then you break your cross batters.
I was just, as soon as I was praising them, they never lose these man advantage situations. They're looking really clean today, and then we saw that round. I was like, oh dear.
I think that's a little bit of the nerves.
Yeah,
a little bit of the nerves creeping in, but you know, they just have to settle it down. But I think something for me was the highlight of this defense. I mean, seeing him back on Jet, it's old school. I mean, you're telling me this is your breach? This is you see him and go, yeah, I think this guy's great with a fault line.
Yeah, 3 words. Too many buttons. Stop with all the buttons. I mean, that was a pretty nice play. Got right in there. I love the updraft light armor, updraft dash light armor purchase on the pistol, just getting into market. It's not a play that you see very often on the pistol. And there you go, round 4, I think even round 3, right from the bonus, this guy got on the op. Like straight away, no messing around. And that can be very risky. Because realistically, guys, you lose that bonus round where you buy the op, and you've got to go down onto a judge. You're handing the op over to Famous, who might be the best opper in Pacific right now. I mean, looking at the numbers, and
something is contesting that though.
He was certainly trying to this game.
One map. Let's calm down.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say something's probably hands down one of my favorite Jets in the world.
Definitely entertaining.
So I'm very happy to see them playing it on Ascent of all things. So I think we're going into map 3 now.
Sure.
Which we originally didn't think was going to happen, or at least some of us didn't think was going to happen. And Patman being our MVP, first time on the VCT Pacific stage, getting MVP on map 2.
Both games, he's been great. He's been very consistent. I think PRX need another consistent player who could just play his role. He's just playing the init role. He's doing what he should be doing. I really liked, even on attack, you could see the cogs turning a little bit. KO on Ascent attack, you need to be sometimes an agent that can keep the other team in check to some extent. Your utility can very much, like I was talking about Shiro on Pearl side attack for Boom, you can be an agent that if you're reading the game, you understand what the other team's doing and what space they're taking in mains and stuff like that. You don't even really need teammates to hard take the control. You can KO knife, you can KO flash the defense off the line and deny them a lot of information if you're reading the game well. And you could see Patman doing a little bit of that. So even without as much experience on the big stage, you can tell that he's played a lot. You know, he understands the game and what the other team's trying to do.
So Fracture being the next map, PRX, we know this is the one map they're good at, really good at. And this was without Patman. So I'm curious to see now with Patman coming into this mix. I can already see a little bit of change coming from PRX from the first map and the second map here. A lot more communication happening and less of that hive mind and actually just playing like a team that talks to each other.
Yeah,
so
I have to say I'm nervous for Boom heading into map 3. Fracture is naturally a map that fits PRX style. We just saw on that Ascent how aggressive they were on their defense. And Fracture necessitates you to be aggressive on your defense. 100%. So it's a very natural fit. We also previously saw Jin move across to the Brimstone, where he was able to have a much stronger performance than he could on Omen. So I would expect to see that again, expect to see an uptake in his performance, and you know, it's a map that's stylistically great for them. So I think Boom do have their work cut out in this map 3.
Yeah, this is just stage 1 data. In kickoff, they won it twice as well. They were picking it. This is a map PRX usually goes to.
Yeah.
So the fact that Boom, especially after the Lotus game that we just saw from them last week, they could have played Lotus. They were left down to Lotus, Fracture, and they said, we're going to play Fracture against PRX as the decider. They might be regretting that decision.
Okay, but to play devil's advocate on the other side, we just talked about how great this anti-strat might have just been from PRX, but we've always talked about how good Boom's anti-strats have been able to be. So they've been able to watch a lot of PRX's Fracture. You know, they've just recently played it in stage 1, so I think they might be trying to take a similar approach that PRX took in map 2 and trying to be a little bit more focused on the counter necessarily than what your own players are best of.
They've had some maps where they've had insane like reads and insane prep, like that last Lotus game that they played against GE. They were all over that. That was an insane defense that we saw from them. So we'll see what they're going to be bringing today. And not to mention, Fracture is not a map Boom's uncomfortable with. I mean, we've only seen them play it once in Pacific, which was against T1. They had a closed first half, and then unfortunately, it was the third map decider, and in the second half, they just let it slip away. And that was the game that kicked off kickoff. Literally, it was the game where I was like, is T1 going to get upset by Boom? And then, unfortunately, they couldn't close the game and the series out, which is always my concern for Boom.
So I'm curious now how they're going to do this. So Patman coming into the mix does change things up. Boom hasn't shown stage 1 Fracture yet. Are they going to keep their comp? So far, based on what they both played, it's a very similar comp with the Neon. I think only the Sentinel was the main difference between the two, with the Vice. And the Cypher. So I wonder if they're going to change it up. You're right. They have a lot of material, as in Boom has a lot of material to go off of to work on PaperX.
But then I suppose if I'm PaperX knowing that and I'm bringing in an extra player and I'm able to swap things, we saw, you know, how they were able to show their Pearl and, you know, the kind of double duelist approach. So I think if they want to kind of knock Boom's prep and, you know, try and take it to them, I also think double duelist is very effective. We've seen how great Jing is on Raze, so that's always going to be there, always going to be a pocket pick that they can bring back if they so choose.
That was T1's old comp. You know, they were playing like Neon Raze, things like that, so definitely could be something that's on the cards. You're probably not going to see something on Breach, so what is he going to play? Because I'm assuming Patman is here to play Breach on Fracture. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I would kind of hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So Jing, I don't see any reason to not put Jing on the Brimstone. He was great last time. That's totally fine.
Oh yes, the Stim Beacon.
Yeah,
it loves a Stim Beacon.
And then
Jing on the Stim.
Who's playing the Senti? I mean, it can be Devi or Forsaken. I do actually like Forsaken on things like Sky and on the Teo when we saw it in kickoff. I really like positionally how he plays that Enit sometimes.
Sky?
So
what's Sky? Is that a new agent?
Yeah.
I think it's from some island somewhere, like Fiji maybe, or like New Zealand, Tasmania perhaps.
Well, we are going to be going into the third map of the series, and this is exactly what we wanted as fans, as audience of VCT Pacific, and the Asian comps looks like has much changed. Guys, take it away.
Not too much has changed here, at least for PaperX compositionally, but role-wise, something is going to be on the Teo, so this is going to be a bit of a head-scratcher for Satan.
Rồi, map 3, let's go anh em ơi, tập trung.
Boom,
Map 3, Fracture. Ginger Brim, Forsaken chơi Neon, Something chơi Tezo. Hay còn lại chơi mẹ chưa kịp coi.
Because he's not been at his maximum capacity, but Brimstone can simplify that, so I'm really expecting big things here. Very, very similar comps, only the Sentinel difference. Pure head-to-head Valorant.
Yeah. Berserk's going to keep things old school on the Killjoys, so I think, you know, Boom have comfort roles. PaperX have once again changed things up in the third map decider, and last time against Gen G, that went horribly wrong.
Well, let's see if things go horribly right for one of these teams. This is the last map of the series. Does Boom go to playoffs, or does PaperX finally get a tick in the win zone? We're going to go back to our casters Komodo and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Oh, hell yeah. I am so fired up for this final map because it is definitely very much so pure heads-up Valorant. Famous versus Forsaken on the Neon. But what do you think about this, though? Old school versus new school in terms of the Sentinels?
Well, Killjoy is quite the rare pick when it does come to Fracture these days, of course. You know, we're seeing it throw it on back, like Global and RRQ from memory running it, like last times, but still really rare. Comfort pick for Berserks. Though, Boom, on this attack, already starting to clear out Arcade, getting up towards Tower, something dispatched of, first casualty.
And pulls the rotations completely over. Still though, oh, this is two players now stuck inside the tower, but quickly dealt with.
Neon deep.
Tries to slide his way through. Now Jing answering back from Canteen, but at the same time, NC Slasher with that classic finds the right clicks. Frags as well. Boom to pick up the pistol.
Yeah, getting activated nice and early. DOS9 this time as well. Shiro for 1 and a bit of utility too. You asked about Famous and Forsaken on this Neon. They had a bit of a smooch in the tower just then, but Forsaken wins that one. What I wanted to highlight though again is a lot of these different role changes that come back into what's this one, right? The buyback on the Vice, like that we saw on Ascent. I thought he was really proficient in how he was playing those sheer walls. Timing on the Thorns as well. Patman, I'm going to be interested to see how his breach really looks here, because, you know, when you think of Patman, you do think most recently Flash Inits, right? We saw his KO, his breach here is something that he's hopefully going to be quite proficient on.
Specifically breach, it is his, you know, most played agent in recent history, but still, that remains to be seen as PaperX tries to rotate their way over. Of course, though, Berserk's happy to lock down this entire lane with his Marshall online for the ace now. But something is still nowhere to be found. In fact, just hiding up around Canteen in a little corner behind the Sky Smoke, but...
Ace.
Oh.
Ace.
You see him just making a bit of...
Thấy rồi, thấy map rồi.
Mini-map at least. Famous trying to give him the ace, and there it is! Berserks to collect on it.
Hey, round of applause. 2-0 up for Boom.
Không, chắc là AI intro các bạn ơi, AI intro thôi.
Or away for the
Berserks. What I want to also say though, we have had 2 extremely high kill performance maps from Famous, right? Map number 1, Pearl, dropped 27 kills. If you can remember back to Pearl. Map 2, Ascent, just then, 25, right? So he's over 50 kills. No one on his team is over 30 just yet for the series in 2 maps. So are we going to get a lot of more consistency from him, or is it time for someone else on Boom to step up? Conversely, over on PRX's side, more kind of cohesive as a team, spreading the kills. But this is their bonus round, right? This is the one where PRX have the better weaponry. This is the round that they should be winning.
Could even be both, but at least PRX currently pushing out Tree, spotted that everything is clear, now has to hold in towards the B site. Jing as well as Patman able to anchor in towards Arcade though, pushing past the smoke. Jing with the stimmy. He's still going on a bit of a tear until he drops down for Sacred.
Hay.
Tower.
Ui,
PRX
mà tưởng bên kia nó lộng hành chứ. Hơi nó đéo lộng hành đấy.
Famous caught out in the high gear, unfortunately, was still just running away from Jing's fight. Didn't equip the gun to take that one on the site, but hey, PRX, they are on the board nice and early, so we're not going to have any teams here really establish, you know, a huge lead like 7-0 that we did see.
Có hop, trận này có vẻ như ổn hai bên đó.
Boom, you know, over on Pearl as well, kind of ended the first half. That one, I guess you could still say is plausible for both teams here. But a lot of fracture as well is going to be, you know, kind of what space you're going to look to contain, what calls you're going to look to do. Of course, Boom opting for fracture here, questionable over Lotus.
Especially against PRX, but
yep,
we shall see.
Top map control established for PRX.
Bringing the gauntlet down against PRX, but with that also,
Dẻo
just
thế.
to read how PRX might be maneuvering across.
2 spotted.
Famous finds Forsaken, and that's going to be a lockdown deployed as well, but not the full commit just yet. PRX still hanging out cross bench. Famous keeping them invested. Fast lanes through as well. PRX needs to try to sneak past.
Yeah.
Has to keep their eyes trained down in towards tunnel as well still, because Famous continuing to poke and prod.
He's done his job though.
Yeah, that's just going to buy a lot of time away from the spike. Now Jing trying to find back. Will be able to refrag, but Berserks instantly refills that position. Now you got tower as well. NC Slasher is holding that down like nobody's business.
Hay nè.
Okay, able to flick back towards it, but yeah.
Xếp rồi.
Yeah, the 1 versus 4 is not going to come out.
Bên kia súng lớn cũng hơi căng đấy.
Famous did his job, right? He bought so much time to keep them all occupied around bench, around arcade.
Lát nữa qua công. Lát nữa phải qua công các bạn à. Bên thủ thì có thể là không được, nhưng mà qua công thì mọi thứ nó sẽ khác. Map sở trường qua break, map này là upcoming.
The amount of time that Boom was just able to buy themselves, it brings in more time to use these post-plant abilities, right? When you're going to get your salvos back online, you're expecting that DOS is going to have a couple of these lineups for the incendiary, or at least be positioning himself that he can kind of just rip that out where needed. The difference now that we're also going to have to see for PRX to contend with is, you know, as I mentioned, you don't see many Killjoys be played on Fracture anymore, right? So they also have to contend with these nanos that are going to come on out from Berserks.
Especially on the attack, possible post plants being found, at least right now. Interesting bit of an eco buy. The outlaw in the hand of Berserks. PRX also, you know, going off some cheap plays of their own. Forsaken on the Bucky. He's just positioned up towards a main now, picking up the alt orb.
Yeah, overdrive available if needed. Could see something sneaky with the fault line from Patman ready. Forsaken a call, they'll rip on that one. And it is going to come on out.
Oh, shoulder jiggle.
Trap. We've seen this before. I think we saw 2 casualties.
Alt combos and the stealth drone out towards Tree as well now. Here comes Forsaken with the overdrive, but he's shut down by DOS9. Berserk's finding a frag in towards the B side as well. So it's just a Vi trying to hold the off angle. He's been smoked off. Does have an arc rose to play with, and that's the flash, but he flashes himself as well.
Đen vãi liền mà chàng đúng lúc là flash mà. Ông này tự flash với bản thân mình luôn mà. Cái đéo gì giờ. Làm hai được. Rồi lộn tin mẹ rồi.
You don't quite have the position to pull off the salvos either now, so you're flushed out. But he finds that from something! 1 apiece, and he gets the triple to collect the round up for PRX. Don't forget to defuse though, please. Okay, there it is.
1 tap, 2 tap. Give me more. He's risen from his seat. That is a round that I thought that
Mày phải đúng 2 viên mà Lin vãi Lin ạ. Tinh.
What a clutch.
He gets mollied out, right? Salvoed out. He's got a little Little small window of timing to find that first jewel, but the second sharp shot, just the adjustment of the aim to come on out there. That is, we need to see this one back.
Anh Thịnh nói tụi bay đã lộng hành quá nhiều. Nhìn Lin.
Gorgeous. In a second.
That's the stuff you can't teach.
Can't teach that.
That's just in his genes.
Still though, ultimate's beginning to cycle through. PRX needing to find the information necessary. So pushing out a tree along with the drone. Boom should be hearing this.
Well, they're going to just contact up towards A. Eventually going to have to call the audible and just go for it a little bit quicker.
All the responsibility falling on towards Devi's shoulders now. He's being hit with a lot of utility. The salvo flushes him out of position where he's not quite able to recenter himself. Forsaken, though, arriving on the site. Will be able to find a single frag, but Rolling Thunder now collapses through. Needs to hold out around A main where the door gets pushed upon by Famous. Jing, though, happy to push into the smoke to just find a bit more space.
Hay là hay.
Second frag found.
Làm được. Anh Jin click luôn. Anh Jin click.
Much in terms of the utility department, though. Just a smoke.
Một sai.
And he has to really suss out these positions. So maybe a bit of smoke for cover just to allow him to deal with the site. So isolating angles at least for now. Oh, he actually pushes through. But DOS9 respecting it, does have the incendiary as well. So this is a really tough spot for Jing to be in. Flashes, dodged. Jing still strafing alongside. Everything's being found. NZ Slasher just toying with his prey.
Bên kia chơi an toàn quá mà.
Around that pillar nicely, that time will be won because DOS still has the incendiary to be able to throw in, and he's just not giving him the fight, right? The way that Boom lose that one is if DOS9 continues to play for the fight closely and allows him to just dance around in that smoke. Yeah, I mean, DOS9 throws the orbital strike in towards A main as well later in the round to make sure that there's no quick flanks to be able to come on out as well. Technically, you could call that a bit of a wasted ult, but you understand the idea behind it. Yeah, a lot of trades to come on out. I like that Boom really did speed it up quickly, recognizing the PRX were coming from behind quick. And now they give themselves a little bit of a breathe room, right? They can take a solo round if they want to. They can do it fast as well if they need to. It is the lesser weaponry for PRX.
And this is where, I'm not gonna lie, it does get quite chaotic for PRX to try and read the possible plays because this is Fracture after all. And you just have Famous and NC Slasher bursting into the site.
Set yourselves up a good post plant here, not drop any more weapons.
You've got Armageddon as well, and this is how the ultimates are beginning to cycle for Boom, but not even needed for now, at least.
Hay nè. Ôi chó kìa.
Trying to pull up something of pressure, but it's not quite happening just yet. So Arc Rose now being tossed over by Divide to create a little more
Liếm một.
And he really do it all. Not too much. At least just to pick up a weapon until his teammate falls.
Khó rồi.
All happy to hold the positions and the angles. Simple shot found.
Yep, and that's just another A main protocol for them with getting in some early utility, not seeing anything on it, and then speeding up a little bit. So I'm going to be expecting PRX to do something a little bit different coming towards this next round. You're getting into this half as well where you're 4-2 down. Do you want to deploy a bit of a timeout to have a discussion here? I don't think it would be a bad idea from the likes of PRX to just have an early play to make sure that they're, you know, getting this round, the next round as well. 5-2.
No, though. I mean, this is where you really need to find your way across the map. Utility information is very much so key for a map that we're about to say goodbye to.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to think in the grand scheme of things what this does mean. Boom, the Ascended team that, you know, they lost Ascension, but they still got a promotion in towards it. Didn't have the greatest start over in kickoff, now 2-0 up, looking for a 3-0. You know, we're seeing Ascension team really do some damage here in Pacific. I mean, you think to the likes of Americas where you've got G2 really doing some damage, right? But apart from that...
And it's very possible, Komodo. This is, you know, leaps and bounds ahead from the meme boom that tied around the zip lines.
Yeah.
Now with the heads-up duel, I mean, this almost feels like a full challenge against PRX, like playing really similar compositions, similar roles in terms of the players as well.
Yeah.
And kind of currently outdoing PRX in terms of the macro game.
Well, we're definitely going to need to see...
Ráng đi, bên này chỉ cần 4 round đi. 4 round cho thoải mái. 4 round thôi.
Gonna play the 4-1. leaving Famous to his own devices. You can see him activate a little bit later if you need. Your standard sort of wall in, overdrive can throw a bit of a spanner in the works of this one and hope that you don't undo the wrong bolt at the moment.
Okay, well, at least PRX going for that pinch again, and it's going to be a bit of an empty position played by Boom. They try to flash themselves back into play, but something barrels through. The trade protocols are there for PRX.
Ủa,
It's just DOS
cuối vào đây. Ngu qua đây, thằng ngu là ngu. Hay. Sau lưng, chết lại sau lưng đi, chết lại sau lưng. Chết lại sau lưng, ôi!
In terms of the timing, but still not undoable. Does pick up the frag, and the spike has an opportunity to find his way into a site. The question is, which one is it going to be?
I like that Devi and Jin recognize that it's a 2 versus 1, and
Mà nó nhanh thật ha, lay quay tới mẹ sau lưng rồi.
Because Famous, well, if he goes towards B, you've got all your utility, but more importantly, it's the numbers game. You play to the percentages, which is what PRX need.
I love that you highlight that, Komodo, but I am also very much so reminded of a very similar scenario that we saw last week against Munchkin. They had numbers. It also kind of fell by the wayside. Can PRX prove everyone wrong this time? Spike will go down.
This ain't no haven though, Quack. That's the thing. No dark cover. Famous 1 versus 2.
Bắn chung là ăn.
Still positioned up top. Timing. PRX creeping forward.
Thấy rồi.
Famous knows exactly where to look. The spike
Hay.
will get defused as PRX smokes themselves off, goes in for the peak, and picks up the round.
Playing to the percentages, nicely done at the end there. Divide to get his first kill on the board as
Anh Thành
well.
bắn duelist được chứ không trả roll trên cái đường này.
Individual confidence for him. PRX though, Quack at the beginning of that round really W.
Trong một lý do đó, hoặc là đang muốn triển khai đội hình.
Off guard and not really able to retaliate. A lot of great flashes to come on through. Credit to Patman. I do believe in that one with the stun, with the flashes. And then just the advantage, making sure that you don't drop that one. So
Anh Thành này bắn hơi throw hiểu không? Anh Thành này bắn có cái style là dễ throw. Nên sẽ tùy map để cho anh Thành chơi duelist.
But the thing is, if PRX gather the full control in A main, they can quickly get a crunch down towards tree as well and make things quite awkward up towards this B side.
And that's exactly what is happening. The adjustments coming in from Boom in terms of the macro game. PRX though trying to get ahead of it as well, but we do have a slight repeat of the zipline incident from years ago. Now,
hey, at least it isn't everybody.
Yes. Boom still stopped in their tracks, and that is the main story of what's happening in this round. Famous though, trying to create some presence of his own while the Bravo squad heads over onto the A site. Something quickly deals with the early presence made known, and then a bit of a trade coming out from Jing. DOS9 a trade of his own as well.
3v2, làm được.
Sneak into the site. Patman alone to hold. He does have Jing right by him. But look at that spray. A bit of a trade coming from Jing, and that's gonna be the double kill to end the round.
Yeah, there were so many
Ủa ra là ok rồi. Lát đổi háp nữa.
Đúp
cầm miệng là xong.
Come through from Boom, right? And it wasn't really working. PRX, apart from that last duel that we really see, were always doing it together in numbers. You got Forsaken and Patman in the beginning. You got that one that we see there, but the trades. The name of the game, the trades. Really from PRX, not overstepping too hard. Jing able to double down at the end there as well to start to look to equalize this map.
And that's what I really love now coming out from PRX, beginning to catch up to Boom in terms of the macro game, getting the reads to smoke off Boom's advances, and then the trade protocols coming back through into it. So Boom trying to find some adjustments. They got a bit of a half by now, bunching up towards A main.
Great shot.
PRX holds long range, reading their attempts at a play as well. Salvos though, and Forsaken looking to meet right fingers.
Ôi, nhìn anh Thịnh hay ha. Mặc dù di chuyển nhưng mà tâm vẫn tracking cho mục tiêu được. Mù á, đang mù á.
And you see early on as well, Forsaken not dissuaded by all that early utility, not going to fall on back. He's got his team there to support him. He's just going to go in for the charge and catch PRX, catch Boom off guard. A lot of great shots to come out from them on this little lesser equipped round of Booms, and now
Chiến rồi.
5 apiece, right? I'm kind of questioning, are we going to get any decisions on the side of Boom, or are they happy enough, right, to hold these timeouts for the next half? Are they happy with 5 on the attack?
Rau đéo gì anh Ti quá trời vậy.
Just the fact that it's 2 rounds left.
Cái rau đéo gì mà 8 cái anti à. Sắp chục cái anti luôn, các bạn coi nè, rau này mẹ anti chắc xả cho máy á.
Jing though trading right back, and then the rest of the squad to head on over into the A site.
Berserk's the turret was shooting him, and he just wasn't able to find it in the full chaos around the tree. But now, a 2 versus 3.
Fairly chaotic.
Into the site, and look at the post-plant utility that Boom are going to have here. Salvos will come back online, an Armageddon. You got a Rolling Thunder and an Aftershock, and where you're planting it, you do set yourselves up for walls to be able to use a lot of that.
So a possible save for PRX, but something does have the Armageddon as well. If he's able to deploy it into the right position, might be able to find something more.
They've got a lot of money, so you're definitely going for it.
So right now coming out towards Dish and drop.
Không xa, chắc nghĩ nhiều.
Rolling Thunder at the right time though does crunch into the players from PRX, but Jing saves something's life. And that's going to be now the stun. NC Slasher.
Vãi mà dưỡng móc cái Shorty làm phát được nữa.
Perfection back there, swapping over onto the shorty.
Yeah, and ripping the Rolling Thunder off the back of the contact as well, right? As soon as those smokes do come on down, you know that that's going to be go time to kind of catch them none the wiser. The jewel in the tree. This
các bạn thấy sao Shorty chưa? Mà Shorty sẽ làm được những cái điều mà chúng ta không thể ngờ tới trong lúc mà cận nhau với đi gần nhau.
I will say that one there. For which team? For both teams.
Both, yeah. Just completely erupting in rapture, but still, this half is not over yet, and we still have ultimates at play.
If something has the Armageddon at the right spot, and it's positioned towards the site on the back of the shear, that could have really hurt Boom if they wanted to go close. But sheer timing to reset. And Quack, there's 4 ults for Boom here.
That's right.
You could just set up for a lockdown. You could force out an Armageddon. You could try and force out the Steel Garden.
Ults for PRX as well. And that's why they are positioned so defensively. They've been pushing out for the past few rounds, and Boom read that in the previous one, being able to find those trades back in.
Oh.
But now all of a sudden, just a bit of utility, and that's a Rolling Thunder sent in towards Arcade. Boom reads this as the go signal into the A site. Armageddon right at the
anti xả liên tục luôn mà.
It's just Famous and NC Slash into the
Rồi
site.
hết anti, mẹ bên kia nó 4 cái anti nó xả ngược lại nè. Bên bom 4 cái anti nó xả ngược lại nè các bạn nè. Ấy nè. Ấy. Trời.
The rest of the PRX squad all coming out from main.
Still got the Armageddon, remember?
Aftershock, Boom still happy to hold. They don't quite need to fight, they don't quite need to peek, and that's where the onus falls on the PRX.
Armageddon in 5 seconds till salvos.
Just holding, just waiting for it. PRX still trying to barrel their way through, but nothing much found, just a bit of a frag. Jing takes down NC Slasher, but there's the utility. Goes in for the peek, tries to isolate more duels,
and that's it.
And that's a salvo.
Thôi, 5 round là ok rồi.
Jing knows it. The round is
5 round là ok rồi, 5 round là dư sức các bạn ơi.
Good recovery on the last 2 rounds there from Boom, I will admit, and this round as well.
Phải liên mà cái round này các bạn nhìn như nó hỗn chiến mà mày game bắn súng mà cứ như cái gì vậy? Đâu cần một góc BV tổng coi xa đồ á.
You got a lot of different positioning that come out from Boom, but they're so patient when they get in towards the site. I mean, disregard Famous trying to take a duel against Forsaken pretty much towards the spawn, but the rest of the squad, they are
rồi giờ qua đây PRX nó bắn nè. Giờ qua đây PRX mới bắn nè.
All of those exit strategies with the Armageddon, with the salvos, with the crossfires.
It's time.
NC Slasher with the shorty. I mean, playing a couple of strengths there as Boom, but I want to know, right? Is 7-5 going to be enough for either of these teams on the switch up? Right, are we going to get a really good lead out from Boom here, or from PRX, or are we going to get a lot of backwards and forwards action, right? Because Fracture a map, when you've got these 4 different chokes that you can start things off on, you have a mistake at the very beginning, you could be pushed into an awkward save, and that's the sort of situation where coming in towards a map like Fracture, for the likes of Boom, who haven't had that much play on it, right? Recently at least, could see them crumble a little bit.
Yeah. Great cosplay from the fans at least, but you're absolutely right, Komodo. It's going to be tough to say who exactly could come up with the lead, but one thing we can say for sure is the fact that it all begins with that pistol. That's just top tier analysis coming out from me anyway. But no, it's very much true because that dictates the pace for the entire rest of this half. And at least looking at statistics right now, Boom leading very much more so, given PRX's recent losses. You got to be able to read the game as well, and Boom has, again, just been doing such a good job of that.
It does look a little bit more comfortable from what I've seen so far for PRX as opposed to when they were playing Waylay. I will say that, but I feel like you've still got a couple of key people who are not really getting activated as best as I thought they might be.
So maybe now with Patman in the roster trying to launch something different, that you actually went for a very specific route through tunnel. Boom kind of gets a sniff of
Các bạn
that.
nhìn PRX di chuyển nha, ảo chưa?
But doesn't see too much.
Yeah, Devi's seen nothing in A main, so there's a call here for the squad to come on over. You can contact on up at the moment, and you actually might be able to overwhelm Berserks and not.
Bên này để cái stun hạ sẵn á.
They are traps in of their own right as well, though. Berserks and NC Slasher, they've been pretty darn good so far, and that's going to be that fault line. NC Slasher coming in with the support. Trades found for Boom. PRX finds their own trades as well. A third one now as Shiro gets taken out. Famous though.
Before the flashes. A bit ill-advised.
It's a little bit tough, but
Đổi
still
cam chìm áp hả? Kéo cam qua.
Does push the out of position.
Kéo cam vào đây.
Forsaken tries to hold the off angle, but now as he turns back around, that's another kill found for Boom. Jing, it's all down to you. Low HP as well as he swings out DOS9 to find the easy shot in towards center mass.
Yeah.
Boom with the pistol.
The stuns in main as well, right? Both sides getting stunned on up. You got salvos awaited for. You got a flash then going in for NC Slasher, but he gets spotted out just before it's able to fully activate and blind up PRX again. The
Ôi
trade
mà mới chỉnh cam xong quay qua thua mẹ rồi.
You might have seen him look.
Mới chỉnh cái cam xong quay qua thua mẹ. What the fuck?
Two members of the PRX boys. You know, imagine if he falls there, it makes it very difficult for Famous to be able to try and close out the round or get down from drop. So the fact that DOS9 falls back just a little bit and then it goes into the 1 versus 1 HP advantage of that scenario for DOS9 and he's able to just dispatch of his enemy, which means here, Quack, we got another pistol round going the way of Boom.
And that's beginning to be that
Phát bay luôn à, mày chơi mạnh vậy?
I mean, such a calm presence for the team.
And his absence on the previous maps as well, right? Finally feeling worth here.
And looking at this as well, I mean, the Sky Smoke's instantly deployed to block off A main. PRX thinking to explode off of it. They come into this round with a force buy of their own. And this is buy that needs to pay off in dividends.
Oh, absolutely. If this round doesn't go your way, maybe even convincingly, it makes it really awkward for PRX.
Famous sidestep the fault line.
Mẹ đồ xả không kịp vô luôn mà.
But it's balanced.
Dằn cái main hơi chắc.
It's a round where PRX needs to find and seize some form of an initiative. And it's going to be Famous seizing that positioning instead. Still though, trades found right back.
No one able to really help him in that situation, unfortunately. So 4 versus 4 in towards the A site. You start to get on up.
4 versus 2 maybe if you're just talking about the Boom players on the site itself. But look at Shiro stopping them in their tracks, completely halted as
Đồ không đều với nhau rồi. Ê. Ui.
They don't. It's the fire
Trái
find a single one before Shiro just descends upon them with a full stinger magazine.
Shiro, I've been a little bit hesitant to say his name in this one so far because playing on this Taeho.
Học rồi, phát bay thế là học rồi.
No successions really coming out from the drone for the team to find any kills on the back of. No major salvo plays, no stun salvo traps as well to net him a kill, right? He had 2 kills in the first half. Now he's just doubled that one up coming in towards the second. He could be calling a masterful game behind the scenes, right? Very well possibly could, which is where the value will come from him. But if he can get his self-confidence into this one, likewise with Divide for PRX, it could be the missing factor for one team to really propel ahead here.
That's right, that's what it is. You know, Shiro has the IGN now beginning to step up. Meanwhile, PRX once again with a half buy now coming back in. It's going to be a little bit tough as Boom are looking a lot more confident. The stun will help out just a bit. Jing to answer back.
Với nhau. Ui.
Now the stun's coming through once again. It does give away in positioning though, but still
biết rồi, biết này 3 đứa rồi.
Pass through these choke points.
And they're locked. They are locked in. They have to either fully disconnect here or they have to try and just win a single duel. That's all the info that Famous needed.
And more of the lines being locked down, especially with the Outlaw being reloaded. Just Stinger and Spectre, something at hand, trying to spray through, spray pass. It's not quite happening. As Boom splashes
Hai
PaperX with a
súng
bit of
cũng
cold
tương
water.
đối.
Yeah, and that was another bit of a force up for PaperX in that round too, right? So now you're playing on the back of your loss bonus to get you these primary rifles. You're still going to have Patman, who's down on towards the Spectre coming into this next round. Understandably so, right? His goal in this sort of round is going to be to get a good stun for his team, to get good flashes, to provide them the entryways in. But there really needs to be a different look towards PaperX at the moment, right? Because you drop the pistol. Oh, why did they...
That's
Cay, thầy căng rồi, thầy căng rồi.
That is a really rough one.
And it's a real question that we do have to ask, because right now, in this very round, if PaperX doesn't find a round, this could be it. Boom. Very much comfortable in their sights. A little bit of a flash out though, and Forsaken tries to answer back.
Yeah.
Sprays through the smokes and does find a double. A bit of an opportunity for PaperX to answer back.
Ôi, còn một thằng đây nè. Chết đi.
Two-player advantage for PaperX at the moment, and you know, Quack, that Boomer gonna give this one a crack.
Happy to, but Patman, recognizing that as well, holds the position. Famous in with the Outlaw now, spots out Forsaken. DOS9 taking that opportunity to peek out. Famous now finding the trade, and both Neons kick things into high gear. Forsaken off towards the other line, expects and anticipates the slide out.
It's time. Đây rồi.
PaperX will be able to save themselves.
Yeah. We really need some good macro decisions from PaperX at the moment on this attacking side, because it looks like that Boom are quite happy, you know, to try and find these isolated players. A little bit unfortunate at the beginning of this round that Berserks was caught off guard in the tower. You know, if he's able to lock down the site as the Sentinel himself, it would make it really, really awkward for PaperX. But hey, Forsaken sent in on the back of that drone. Nicely done for them to get on the board, and they've got a couple of these key ults, right? Orbitals for both sides, Forsaken with the overdrive.
Famous on the op though this time.
That's it. That's the next thing I was going to mention, and we know how impactful he can be, and he's on the line.
Gotta be so careful! But unfortunately,
he wants more.
Forsaken will bite the dust. Stealth drone out, so they know exactly where he is, but PaperX looking to re-challenge.
Ôi,
Famous now
được
fully
nó.
blinded,
Tiếc
has to
kìa.
back off.
Yep, and you can reset here, right? Devi has got the shear over at A, so you know no one's gone for a proper flank from Boom, and they don't necessarily need to press the issue. They've got a player advantage. They've still got a lot of this utility that they're yet to utilize.
And it's still a really tough game for PaperX, and this is where I do kind of want to bring up a point of discussion. You know, I know people have talked about this before, but someone might need to step up in terms of leadership for the team.
Yeah, it's what I said a little bit earlier, right? And how do you do that in a round such as this, where your entryway in Forsaken is gone, right? A contact play up main. Boom happy enough to play probably retake here.
Yeah, orbital in the hands
Thế
of
là từ ngày
DOS9.
có tay show là đẩy sai để chết góc ha. Kiểu nó khống chế góc, mấy cái góc hiểm rồi.
Ready for a stun for NC Slasher to orbital strike combine. And that's red and at least dodged on the side itself.
30 seconds left, and you're starting to feel that pressure. Will PaperX crumble, or will they stand tall? Something at least tries to fend them off. But DOS9 to punch right back.
Rolling Thunder in and be really good here.
Hatman trying to get the best possible
Mẹ
time
con tí
before
nữa mà thua chịu á.
Stunned and concussed up. He's just waiting for the go signal. There it goes. Unfortunately though, Boom, they've avoided most of it. Famous coming out from the A main position. Patman trying to slow him down. In with the race.
Sàn cuối. Hay.
PaperX being able to collect a round right back against Boom when they're feeling the hot.
Đó là Rimbrick.
Yeah, just so much crucial time being bought from Devi on the Thorns as well, right? Just waiting for the Flood retake to start to come in from Boom. You got the Rolling Thunder
Có hop rồi.
as well. And just the fact that something's able to find one kill. DOS9 gets elevated and dispatched off, and then you've got a little delayed crossfire a bit later on the side itself. Nicely done from Jing to close that one down again, you know, on this Brimstone, right? Doesn't necessarily need to always be caught out with the iPad. Some good timing on some smokes, and then he can really focus on that crosshair.
Still though, those rounds are far and few between. PaperX back on the advance.
I'm a little bit surprised at how hesitant Boom are to use utility to clear over at main, having already seen Devi's shear. You want to pop that, throw a bit of hesitancy in it.
Ôi!
Mẹ,
có ai làm bot vãi thì chứ. Xui. Má, có ai làm bot đi chích cái giờ bắn một hit đi luôn à. Bị ít 2 cây đam á.
The stealth drone goes out as well. PaperX looking for the spike plant, but it's Not entirely safe. There it goes. And Boom possibly looking for exits right now. Salvos to flush them out of position. PaperX throws back utility of their own, while Boom looks to close in the distance. Out by tower. DOS9 finds one. He finds two! Divide, though, able to hold it off. Needs a little bit more. He peeks in! Zero answers back. And now it's just a 1-on-2. Something needs to find all of it. He feels the pressure of the spike being defused, and he peeks out. The molly burns at Something's feet.
2 shots out of the Sheriff is going to stall you, then into the flames, and you will not carry on, unfortunately. A thrifty to come here for Boom. As they
tụi nó free fire vãi đâu.
Towards the series point.
And that's Armageddon for Shiro as well.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the Armageddon in the end there, and it was 1 away for kind of both of them, right? So the fact that had the kill gone Something's way, potentially could have used it
nó quậy phát 2 thằng vãi liền mà.
Yeah, just the timing, the molly to not necessarily go for the kill, right? It's the scare tactic to make sure that if he's going to take the duel, he's going to die.
This is a much needed timeout.
Oh yeah.
Possibly dreaded by the players as well, because
I mean,
the rounds have been
haphazard.
Yep.
And you got to remember as well, when Alex got really, I don't want to say angry, but it kind of looked at it, right? When you've got a force buy upon a force buy at the beginning of this half, you have essentially delayed your start towards this second half and given a round over towards Boom, where the scoreline, you know, if that didn't happen, it could have been 10-7, right? It could have even had you in the lead and a change up because you start to get your
Đó chính kẻ khiến cho Genji thua hả? Vãi lên đi. Kinh vậy. Mẹ nó quỷ à.
Extremely important timeout to, you know, have an immediate effect. This needs an immediate effect in this gun round for PaperX, and it's not even a great looking gun round, Quack.
Yeah, Bucky, Spectre.
But you do have the overdrive for Forsaken, so if you can somehow get him on the right line early on.
On the attack, though, still not the best winning percentage for PaperX currently. Boom, on the other hand, you've still got that Armageddon. 1 away from the lockdown on Berserks. NC Slasher close to the Rolling Thunder as well.
Yeah.
And look at this.
There's a change up over at the B side as well with where some of this utility is, right? Turret to play contact over towards the top side of the map, where you've got the alarm bot and the nanos at the choke of the entry from tree. So if PaperX wanted to play Stally, well, they can be held at bay for a bit.
Overdrive, Steel Garden, Armageddon as well coming out from bench, but nothing found. Can Forsaken find a little bit more to keep PaperX invested in the game? Tries to hold tower with the Bucky. That would be an optimal spot. Armageddon from PaperX as well. But still Famous, beginning to find an opening. The spike is down and PaperX needs to hold, but they're beginning to push out a little bit more. Trades found by NC Slasher. Now Famous looking to take space up by tower. Trades found by Jing once again. 2-on-2, but Something holding the exposed angle. Now it's a tough spot for Jing to fire through. Tries to clutch it out, but DOS9
Mày lại nó nữa.
Instead, Boom will reach series point.
The trades, man. PaperX are looking so good in the trades, but it's just the difference in having one member up or down at a lot of these points. I mean,
Má thằng đó này bóng quỷ
to
quá.
just jump on in through the incendiary in tower as well, send it through there. Does get traded, but NC Slasher on the kill towards Something. They already know where the last soldier in Jing is, and he's just burning up again. This is now series point for Boom Esports, who aren't going to win this in the 2-0 fashion if they get it here, by the way, but it means that they should qualify for playoffs.
Yeah, right on the cusp of it, and they feel it very much so. PaperX now, last breath, last stand as they buy up Guardians. Bit of a Vandal for Davai, but still, as they try to push their way into the site. Orbital Strike at hand as well. Famous re-peaks with the Outlaw. Forsaken answer back. But now, a lot of the site being smoked off. Something has to hold out towards the top, but Shiro trading right back. Numbers advantage somewhat, but NC Slasher has an angle. Petman at least, the spike down, waiting for the fault line to come back alive. Forsaken has to play a very careful jiggle because he's pretty much sandwiched in. Flashed out.
There's salvos now.
And a lot more as well. Tries to flush Patman out of position. Here comes that fault line. Forsaken springs! Looks for the slide in! And that's That's the Guardian to keep PaperX alive.
I mean, I say it time and time again, stuns in this game are pretty cosmetic when you can just still hit your shots like that as Forsaken. I thought
4 round nữa OT, 4 cái bắt boy nữa.
Or the drone to go in a little bit earlier in to start to clear towards the site.
4 cái bắt boy hơi căng đấy. Rao này bên kia Eco. Rao này bên kia Eco nè. Má bên kia Eco nó bắt quỷ cái vai liền ra.
They do hold on, right? So they need to navigate 4 more rounds to try and push us into overtime. There's going to be some ecos and some big old gun rounds, and I'm waiting, right? I'm seeing for Boom. You take the knee in this one. You got an orbital. You got a lockdown. You're getting closer to an overdrive.
Not even taking full knee either, because they're happy to go in for that scuffle against PaperX. Forsaken though, looking to collect as much as possible. Needs as much as possible for the rest of the map. You can see it all written over his player Cam. The situation is tense right now, Komodo.
Yeah, but it's okay. This is one of those rounds for PaperX that they should be winning with 5 alive.
Should be.
And they may. Hey, they may.
12-9 and Boom looking to hold for exits at least. Something beginning to peek out. We'll spot out DOS 9.
Yeah, and the thing is, it does more damage in these scenarios to PaperX than it would to Boom, right? Because they already have the ults for the players that are alive. There's 1 gun down, so 1 is the pass mark. You'll be able to re-get that in the next round, but
cây ra đây rồi, cây ra đây rồi.
Rounds, right? It's just going to take 1 little misstep for PaperX.
Làm được.
And that could be the series, and I'm looking towards a couple
Kiro,
of these ultimates, right? There's a reason they're called an ultimate. They can be round defining. In this one, they can be series defining in the current point that we're at.
Possibly playoffs defining as well. Not just for Boom, but for PaperX as well. Again, this loss will seriously affect their chances of possibly making it through. Currently sitting at an 0-2 overall. Yep. Boom now looking to push out a bit more information outside of tree.
Some rotations towards the A side, and if you go there as PaperX, you're contending with a lot of this Killjoy utility. But it is on the quieter approach. You do have an alarm bot at drop first for Boom to get an idea. They've also, more importantly here, Quack, pushed out Tree and seen no contest from PaperX. So this is going to be one of those full retake rounds for Boom.
Especially with that possible lockdown as well, as long as Berserks goes undiscovered. But now spotted out by Jing, so lockdown gone. But you do have a player up towards spawn. Jakey, main as well. PaperX has to hold it safe. Something playing into the drop position. Jing now pushing out. Defiant as well, but now Famous comes back in through where he finds Jing's head. No more.
Anh Vai ơi! Anh Vai ơi! Làm gì đó đi anh Vai ơi!
1-on-1.
It is planted for him.
No Arcros though. After shocked out, an NC Slasher trying to clear as much as possible. Goes in for the tap, the flash. He bounced off of it, and that's the entire map. How did that just happen? NC Slasher clutching out the round for Boom. The final scoreline, 13-9. This team wasn't even really supposed to be here, but here they are.
They have absolutely come with a storm behind them, propelling them forward, haven't they? That is not a 2-0 fashion this time, Quack, but it is PaperX being shut down on the map 3, and all 3 of those maps had moments of brilliance from every single player, from the team collectively, but a couple of missed decisions from PaperX's side in this map here on Fracture specifically. And they, like my words, have fun.
I'm still at a loss for how that final kill went through. We've been mentioning how the stuns are somewhat of a cosmetic. That was a flash, but he still turned off of it. And that's just pure instinct coming into play. Boom. They've been great on the macro. They've been stopping PaperX in their tracks, and they're taking their very much well-deserved bow on the stage.
Gotta give them this moment for sure, don't ya? We get to hear from somebody for them, but you just have to know how excited they are with this win.
Truly ascending forwards and upwards inside of this Pacific group stage, stage 1, and we will hear from them a lot more as Jen steps onto the stage.
Có chó gì đây?
Boom, continuing their winning ways. Congratulations, guys. Now I'm gonna need Mr. Famous over here. 붐 e스포츠의 페이머즈 선수 만나보겠습니다. 박수 부탁드립니다. 붐이 벌써 3연승 무패 행진을 기록하고 있습니다. 가장 먼저 최근 이런 좋은 흐름에 대해서는 선수들끼리 어떤 얘기를 하고 있는지부터 여쭤보고 싶네요. Congratulations, Famous. That's 3 wins in a row already. What are the talks and how are you guys enjoying this upward trajectory that you guys are on right now?
We just keep playing like in our scrims, and we just at least we need to have fun also.
Scrims looking good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. 그냥 스크림하고 경기하면서 즐겁게 무대를 즐기려고 하고 있는데 스크림 결과도 굉장히 좋다고 얘기를
David nói gì
하네요.
luôn ạ.
그리고 페이머즈 선수 스테이지 1 들어서 모든 선수들 통틀어서 지금 오퍼레이터 킬수 1위거든요. 오퍼수로서 스스로에 대한 자신감은 어느 정도인지 또 물어보고 싶네요. Now, I don't know if you know, but you are currently number 1. You are leading in operator kills.
Thất vọng lần 3.
For stage 1, yeah.
Quá nhiều
So
sự thất
how
vọng em ơi.
confident are you as the upper, right? Would you say you're maybe the best Pacific upper, or maybe one of the best in the world? And what do you think makes you so good with the sniper rifles?
Just keep holding angles. Like.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say you're one of the best or the best?
No, not yet. Not yet.
겸손하게 아직까지 뭐 퍼시픽 최고는 아닌 것 같고 그래도 그냥 뭐 각만 잘 보고 어떤 각을 쓰면 좋은지 알고 있기 때문에 그냥 뭐 어느 정도 잘 하는 것 같다고 그게 오퍼의 비결이라고 얘기를 합니다. 그러면 다음 경기는 진짜가 옵니다. TRX를 상대하게 됐거든요.
Ổn không? Em ổn không? Peppa Pig. Đột ao luôn. Ôi!
What you want from me?
Em ổn không? Anh kiểm tra em, anh kiểm
Fuck
tra
đà
em.
vai. Đà vai đốt.
Yeah, cuối cùng tôi cũng được trả điểm. Yes sir. Đây. Ở đâu mình phải chụp trên stream mình cho nó gọn ấy. Yeah. 14 điểm. Mày có trận nào tao trừ 14 điểm không giờ? À chắc là trận này à. Trận này một trong hai này cheat à? Đúng không? Trừ 14 điểm trận này chắc là chỉ có trận này thôi. Rồi. Nhìn em và Riven cũng có vẻ đang trầm cảm nha. Rồi. Làm một game. Chuyển cảnh lại bị rè. The fuck, sao nó bị hoài ta? Hay là mày nó bắt mình phải update lên phiên bản mới à? Ủa, hồi đầu stream chuyển cảnh có bị không? Hồi đầu stream chuyển cảnh có bị không? Có hồi đầu stream á. Hồi đầu stream tôi đâu có chuyển cảnh mẹ gì đâu. Hồi đầu stream tôi đâu có chuyển cảnh đâu. Mày không báo bị nay bị à? Điếc tai chấp nhận đi em ơi. Cái này lỗi OBS rồi. Không fit được.
Match found. I've got all the time in the world. Match found. I've got all the time in the world.
Cái lồng mạ nó gấp cùng mà có chơi game không vậy? Ao đã vô.
Match found. I've got all the time in the world.
Five on five, I prefer 1-on-1. But don't worry, this is good too.
Need a drop. Thanks.
Drop in a smoke. No peeking.
One down. Rain a kill. Breaking them.
EB.
Right here.
One enemy remaining.
Correct. Oh, B.
Right here. Right here.
Bye, Cypher. Will not be missed.
Take out Cypher's cameras. He's weak when he's blind.
No charges. No peeking.
Eyes down.
All right. Drop in a smoke.
One enemy remaining.
What?
Flawless. Right here.
This is a very impressive group.
Gun here.
I find them.
Mẹ đặt ráp.
Simple as that.
Đặt ra ở tro thì.
Eso.
Cái nó smoke,
Drop in a smoke.
One shot.
No peeking.
Súng gì mới thế nhờ?
Spike down A.
Gun here.
Enemy spotted A.
One enemy remaining.
Short.
Spike down A. Team Ace.
Spike's here. So embarrassing. Damn right we're crushing it.
Chiến hơi lớn rồi bạn. Nhỏ lại xíu.
Good work. Don't screw it up. Drop in a smoke. Multiple enemies mid. Here, cat.
Chơi shot đi.
No peeking.
Spike down mid.
Right here.
One enemy remaining.
If pain is a lesson, I learned a lot. That's what training gets you.
Gun here.
Clo yếu à.
Gun here.
Gun here. Okay.
Eso. Mini.
Enemy spotted A. Dropping smokes. Here! Yeah!
Maybe correct.
Outside B.
What now?
Two more.
Scanning ahead. Found.
No distraction.
Someone is mid. Spike spotted mid.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Mày tim bắn như rồng như hổ vậy.
Were they born yesterday or something?
When we go out there,
Cứ như
someone
rồng như
dies.
hổ luôn mà.
Carry
That weight.
Okay.
Let's get set up. Over there.
That's the window.
No peeking. Drop in a smoke. Have one of these.
Ocleo. Castling.
Show me a target.
Let it be.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
I know exactly where you are.
I got smoke for you. I got some smoke ceiling.
In a smoke.
Go ahead. Stand your ground.
That's right.
Will they try the same old tricks?
Ở đợi một cái sao này.
my way.
Yes, sir.
Enemy spotted A.
Nice.
Spike down A.
My turn. What? No peeking. Drop in a smoke.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Focusing.
Tự nhiên như bóng mắt não vậy. Thằng này tự nhiên đứng hâu là một chút xíu nha. Thằng này giống như đứng bật hát hay gì á. Rồi. Khả năng có ISO này cheat rồi các bạn ạ. Đợt bạn đặt tâm là nghi rồi nhá. Có ISO rồi nè. ISO này có vấn đề.
I could just outlive them. Nah, bullets are quicker.
What the fuck?
Dropping smokes.
Someone is
B.
Spike planted.
Area. There they are.
shot down.
Last player standing.
One down.
Wait, I have some more. 10 seconds.
I can't see them yet. I can feel them getting ready.
Good luck.
Drop in a smoke.
Outside garage.
No peeking.
B. Outside B.
I shot the My ult is ready.
Last player standing.
Cái lồ gì đó.
Where will they go this time?
Right here. No peeking.
On my wire.
Drop in a smoke.
Yes, sir.
Rồi này. Hai shot.
Have one of these. You had your fun.
Spike down A.
Back like I never left.
Last player standing.
Vậy mà tự nhiên nó bắn điên bắn khùng nữa nha.
Spike planted.
Chỉ một shot.
No peeking. Stay down.
One of my cameras is broken. Wait. Okay.
Beat them back.
Headshot. Shot in a scope. No peeking. Here, catch.
Đâu mà đỡ được.
Right here.
Bé Phương đã after shop 5.000 đồng. Second half of flex 50k nhận ca anh Ốc.
Can't be fam.
Care from B.
Right here.
Lên nào
Cảm ơn bé Phương nhé, từ từ. Anh chưa nghe lại.
Spike down, C.
No peeking.
C'est faux, B.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Phải lồ, nó còn một thằng đây nữa mà. Nó còn một thằng ở đây nữa mà.
Last round before the switch.
Con này nghe lớn quá. Từ từ để tôi đổi lại cái tai nghe cái. Còn là tiếng súng nó áp cái tiếng kia quá.
No peeking. No peeking.
B. Tối hả? Tối chưa biết em.
No peeking.
This one.
Spike down A.
Spike spotted A.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Switching sides.
Đợt này á, mình chưa chết kịp á.
Instinct only goes
Đợt
so
này cái
far.
gì á? Như là kèo đúng không?
Skill covers the rest.
Giá Phương à. Rồi để chiếu anh chết. Second half top frag 50k những không bắn ốc à. Khó em ơi, thằng ISO của anh cheat rồi. Thằng ISO bên team anh cheat á. Nên đây hơi khó em ơi. Thằng này thế nào nó cũng ngồi trên đầu anh à. Kèo này đang bất khả thi đó với anh. Cái game này em ơi. ISO của anh cheat nè. Giờ anh cứ report thôi. Nó rai việc với cái cách đặt tâm hồi nãy của nó là anh cũng nghi rồi.
Dropping smokes.
Reload.
Reload. They found my wire.
Heaven.
Heaven. Flank shot. Bomb shot.
Refreshing.
Heaven one.
Enemy spotted A.
Heaven.
Reloading.
I'm low.
30. One enemy remaining.
Revealing area. They're usually distracted once I reveal them. Make sure you take advantage.
ISO thì mình nó đang cheat này, nó Joker nó ra việc nhé.
I can drone shot.
Take flight.
Yeah.
Dropping smokes.
One flank. He should have trapped long.
Flight planted.
I think not flung.
One enemy remaining.
Ủa, mẹ cái bích thằng nào mà cứ như âm binh vậy.
Breathe. Then commit.
Gun here.
This is business.
Brother. Scanning ahead.
Drop in a smoke.
Reloading.
Drop in a smoke.
Droning a lot.
Here! Cat!
Deploying drone.
One side C.
From B. 2B.
One enemy remaining.
Got a lot.
Flight planted.
My ult is ready.
I got one way spy.
Okay.
Drop in a
One
smoke.
way.
Revealing area.
Inside.
Enemy spotted C.
Hatch on that.
You suck.
Nice one.
Snack time! Sorry. Only brought enough for me.
Tại nó hơi lắc đó nhờ. Em thấy nó hơi lắc không?
Right here.
Do it again.
Drop one.
Droning.
Deploying drone.
Ma.
Spike down A.
That's spy.
Found my wire.
Step for you.
Cannot smoke side.
3 here. Gotta go.
Go B. I can smoke B.
Reloading.
I can smoke A leak. Smoke A leak.
Trick shot.
Think go see you now. Go see.
Making cover.
Oh, you're right.
planted.
2A.
There's second smoke. Two city, two spawn.
One
more cypher.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Drop in a smoke.
Breaking them.
They will scurry, and then they will die.
Could have a drop.
Em thấy không? ISO này nó bắn khéo lắm.
Can you drop ISO?
Can drop me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get short.
Right here.
No distraction.
Take flight. I have retrieved the spike.
Reloading.
Dropping smokes.
Reloading.
Have one of these.
The fuck?
Short bush.
Short bush.
Spike down A.
I know exactly where you are.
Bài nói đặt tâm.
Get out of my way.
Last player standing.
I hate to say it, but probably best to play as a team. So, what's the plan? Enemy spotted. Reloading.
Wanna go B?
No peeking.
One left.
No peeking. You had your fun. Have one of these.
Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
Nice job.
Couldn't have gone better.
Hôm nay làm có stream em. Có stream hôm qua rồi, có stream này gì nữa.
I will find you.
Blocking sight.
Enemy left.
Our spike carrier is killed. I have retrieved.
Spike down A.
Gone. Scanning ahead.
Drop in a smoke.
Hostile removed. They found my wire.
I'm thinking.
Spike.
Cái foot long.
Thinking.
Cypher A long. One A linh, one A long.
Last player standing.
Fade by.
Ôi, nó cắt fly à. Mẹ.
Drop in a smoke.
Nó phát fly à. Mẹ, bảo lộn, nó đứng ở đây, nó fly lên đây à.
Don't get a reset button.
Thông minh đấy. Thằng này là thông minh đấy. Này Phan xài chậm rì không?
Default.
Drop in a smoke.
Spike down mid.
Target down. My ult is ready. I got the spike.
You go see. Come see.
Neutralized.
Drop in a smoke.
Go see.
One enemy remaining. Match point.
Come on, friends. We're so close. It's basically over.
I saw.
I need this. My thanks.
โปรไหมโปรจริงปะเนี่ยโปรก็บอกมาตรงๆไม่ชอบ
Take them one by one. Try show me a target.
I saw show 8 ดิตอนเนี้ย
Everyone hiding. My ultimate.
Frank.
Smokes.
Outside.
Go back, C.
Reloading.
Sleep, brother.
One enemy remaining.
Planted the spike.
Right here.
CD.
Attackers
GG,
win.
bro. I saw มึงโปรจริงปะเนี่ยรีพอร์ตนะ
Cứ report đi. Mà thằng iPhone nó bắn nó là ảo quá. Trời ơi, 79 điểm à. 79 điểm à. Có cộng 15. Quá liền à. 79 điểm à. Oh shit. Oh shit. Bây giờ rồi. 6:30 à. Rồi, nghỉ. Nếu mà lát ở rảnh thì tôi sẽ stream K2. Cũng 3 tiếng rưỡi rồi. Nghỉ thôi các bạn ơi. Bye bye anh em nhé. Off stream đây.